Mikey. That's me.
Hello.
We have 2 couch people today.
The double couch bonus, if you
Dual
will.
couch guys. We have, introduce yourself.
Chris.
And Brent.
And Brent.
I think
right,
one of
guys.
them might be lying, but
One of them, we don't know. One of them could be an imposter.
very
like
possible.
like that game. What's that game?
I could be Brent. And,
What's that game?
what is
Among
it?
Us.
Among Us.
I never even played it, but I know that there was some hotness around it.
Okay. All right. So, well, how was your weekend, Matthew?
And forgive me for eating during this. I've just been putting it off, and I got to do
Yeah,
it now.
for you guys that we have to go ahead. We had to just kind of start somewhat under the fire here. We spent a good bit of time getting the camera kink set up. We had an issue. It was pretty laggy.
Yeah,
so
it's
Matthew
worth
needs to
talking
eat now. Yeah, it is
No.
worth talking about because it was quite the journey.
Well, it is a new setup, and you got more people here than we've had before.
It's very
I
true.
feel
No, but
like,
weekend.
so-
Yeah, weekend was good. Obviously, there was the big game, as
Yeah, the big game.
advertisements
You can't-
call it.
yeah.
You know, for trademark purposes, the big
Yeah.
game. A lot of
TM.
people having parties for the big game,
There,
and I didn't really care much about it at all.
Did
But
you
the
watch
team that I didn't want to win didn't win. You know, I didn't care about either of them. But those
Same.
the 49ers,
Yeah.
I really
Thank
just
God.
I had it on here and there, but I watched the halftime show just because I'm always wanting to see what it has to offer as far as entertainment. But
Yeah, Spider Gaga might have been the. I think you and I witnessed Spider Gaga together. Actually, was that the Falcons and the Patriots?
I don't
When
know.
the Falcons came back, or when the Patriots
Talking
came
about
back.
Lady, you talking about Lady Gaga?
Yeah, Lady Gaga halftime
Oh,
show when she
yeah,
came
yeah.
down from the roof on
I
the
remember that.
wires.
I remember that happening.
That's what I'm pretty sure we
Yeah.
watched that together.
But
And
yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
so,
so
I,
the Super
I
Bowl,
watched
that
the game.
aside,
I mean, the
aside,
big game.
anything
The
else
big
interesting
game.
happened. It was a
the
good
big
game.
the big game,
The big shoot. Shit.
the big shindig.
Oh, we're not supposed to say it.
Yeah,
So
you
a
can't,
game occurred.
Those of whom we do not.
But we
speak.
can talk about that a little
Okay.
bit, Trendy. So what else happened interesting between
Nothing.
now and this? Nothing?
I went and had a good little weekend and just went around.
Where'd you get that at? Where'd you get yourself a good little weekend?
Uh,
You had one like I had a baby, and you had a
myself
good
little
weekend.
I did. I went and danced with some friends at
Was it pretty?
at Red River.
Oh, you acting
Went
like you
country
didn't do
dancing.
anything. Just full went out and
Yeah,
danced.
man, I
Yeah,
went and danced a little around. I might have cut a little rug.
So what do you
He
wear?
was-
What do you
the
wear?
dancing
I
queen.
wore a shirt and blue jeans and boots.
So you kind of played into the cowboy.
Well, sort of. I mean, I
Archetype.
normally wear like blue jeans and boots whenever I go out most places, except for
Is
here.
that true? You're his brother.
Over here, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whenever I,
I mean,
come
we-
over here,
And then
I'm
he's
like
not
this.
black. Just to let you know.
Yeah. I didn't know they were black.
Yeah. So that's cool because I remember
That was an
Chris
inside
came
joke,
by.
fun
Chris
inside joke.
came over Saturday.
Come on. I mean, we pretty much.
Yeah,
dress
Chris
about
is
the
Chris
same
is better
all the
than me.
time.
Chris
So
is
it's-
better
Yeah.
than me.
No, yeah, Chris came over by himself Saturday and got a bit and played
hung
some
out.
Streets of Rage 4, which I never got around to playing.
Bro, we were.
So it's
yeah,
fun.
we were smoking that. Yeah, dude.
Like
we were,
2 or 3 years ago,
we
yeah.
have to get down on something. Actually, we should just. It's a good time to wrap. You guys want to
Right,
shut
no,
it down
I
and, play
just put
some
it on
Streets of
and
Rage?
people can just watch us play it.
Okay, that sounds like a.
They
good
should do
place
that.
to end the podcast.
That's
See
what
you
they
guys
should do.
next
That
week,
should be a
same
good
time,
thing.
same place.
But no, man. Yeah, I had myself a good little weekend, and so with that being said about the weekend and what happened, why don't we figure out what's trending? You want to do trending this week?
Yeah, trending this week.
Let's look into it because I think everybody's dying to know. I mean, it's pop culture. We need to know what's going on in the world, guys. Okay? Otherwise, we're
Okay,
just
so
going to
you can
be
see how it
old
happens.
and out of touch.
What is trending in pop culture this week?
we need to be careful. when we
Let's see
read
right
these.
now.
We can't read every headline out
Let's pick
loud. No, we got
this
trouble
one.
reading headlines out loud.
and let's pick
top search results.
this one. And what do you feel about this one? All right.
Can we make it bigger? Because that's
Uh,
No,
itty bitty. I'm seeing all our.
you'll just have to hear us read them. So it's like
Those are
whenever
words.
it's
Oh,
like
okay.
whenever you'll have to just listen, like our
No,
great
no, here we go. I
grandparents
can
did
help-
and
I
all
can
that, where
help
they
them out.
listened by radio.
so you just lose the ability to see what you look like, but I can show you what we're looking at. Which
I would
I
like
should
to
have
see
thought
that.
about
I
that.
know what I look like.
Y'all
So
look
you
good.
can tell me what
if I say
that,
so myself. You
there's
guys
there's a girl.
look good.
Hey there, everybody.
Identify too.
I want to, while we're not really talking about much anything right now, we're trying to get that bigger on the screen. I want to say hats off to Brent on the couch for giving me a fantastic movie recommendation via Chris, which was Falling Down.
Oh yeah.
Oh, many years ago?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I watched-
such a great. I had never heard of that movie, never seen the movie,
I hadn't either
Chris
until I
had-
watched it with Brent.
and so I was just saying what a great movie it was, and I had no idea about it. I'm always behind the curve, and Brent had told me
Oscar
about
caliber
it.
performance by Sir Michael Douglas.
Yeah, dude, that was such a
was.
great. That was a.
Was it really?
It was.
Yeah, it was such a great
It
one.
was-
I
it
thought
was
it
a
was.
toy
I
gun
thought
at
it
the
was.
end.
I thought it was good,
So
man. I mean, I don't know about Oscar
the thing,
caliber.
No, the thing that was neat about it, so it was like the same way Mikey heard about it, like, is the way that I heard about it, because, like, Brent and I have worked together for the better part of
Friendship years.
20 fucking years now.
Look at my hands.
And yeah, it was years ago. He had brought it up to me, and he was like, "Dude, you never seen that movie?" He was like, "It's like a video game. The guy goes through it, and he just
different
constantly
levels.
upgrades. Well, no, he just constantly upgrades his weaponry. He starts out
But
with
his
nothing.
skill set doesn't upgrade, though, right?
No, but he starts out with nothing, and then he gets a stick, and then he gets a knife, and then it's
So what's
like-
the ultimate
and it's
weapon that he gets by the end of it? The bazooka?
Perspective.
Well, funny you say that. I think he does get a bazooka at some
He
point.
gets,
in
he
the movie.
does. He does.
Honestly, think
like it's
I'm pretty sure he does get
bazookas.
something like that.
Bazookas no
Yeah, he
nothing
gets-
matter. That's
No.
Yeah, he was filming a movie. What was the name of the movie, Brent?
But
Under construction.
so, Matthew, I would like to ask you, how was that meal you just had? Was that tasty?
Yeah, it wasn't bad, man. It's got a new
fries.
deep fryer.
How'd you bake
These
it?
fries you cooked or you fried up are pretty nice.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I deep fried it myself with the deep fryer that was purchased from somewhere that my wife. She did. It's like it was actually her Valentine's Day gift to me, which was pretty cool.
But,
so sweet.
What do you, as far as I know, okay, you got trending this week up?
All right, so yeah, let's just hop right into it because we were.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so I literally just searched. It looks like this is comic related.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that was a bunch
And
of
we don't
comic
need
stuff.
that little thing on the screen saying what number it is.
You guys just got burnt real sad.
Pop culture and we'll continue with the little secret. Got my ad block on. Here's how I turn it off and I refresh.
Yeah.
Okay, this is finally meaningful news.
Here we are.
Blackpink member Lisa's major business move. No idea who that is.
Anybody?
Who- she
Any
she
takers
did,
on
no,
knowledge?
I
Do
don't.
you know who that lady is, Brent?
She has a cool snake
clue.
necklace. It looks like.
Yeah,
It all comes back to the
bangs.
snake face.
I like the
Yeah,
snake
oh, she's
thing.
got the snake face.
That haircut's been
she-
sticking around for a
This
while.
thing?
For
Yeah,
women.
you got the
The
like
bandage?
the
Yeah.
little Cleopatra joint
That's something.
going on.
the
Oh,
bangs.
good.
Yeah,
I've never had anything against
Sean
him.
William Scott, what a good
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, he got his money.
He's
and
getting-
then he, and
time
then
out.
he kept his head.
He's
down.
been in some really funny stuff.
Like he's getting
No, he
divorced,
is.
but why do we need to know about that?
Yeah.
Sean Williams
Because-
Scott?
Why do we need to know about that?
Married. Yeah, it was like he got his money
Yeah.
and then he kept his head down. And
Man,
it
I
was
don't
like,
care about Fire Country. Oh yeah,
Jamie
the
Foxx,
Rock
the most
and Roll Hall of
talented
Fame
man alive.
got announced. I know. Oh yeah, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced their inductee this year. Hold on, this is worth looking at.
You guys are about to get Brent going here.
Dude, I mean, rock and roll is basically in pop culture anything, right?
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
So Memphis?
He was like, is Slayer in there? Then it doesn't count.
Agree, whatever that is. All right, let's see who we got for 2024 induction.
Mary
J.
J. Blige.
This is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
First, let's not act like we're confused about it. And if you really haven't been tuned into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for a long time,
I
it's
haven't.
literally pop culture, anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
Oh, got
bothered.
you.
I'm just
It may-
bothered.
I
by the
understand
fact-
now.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, if you're
I had
acting
no
shocked
idea.
by it,
No,
it sounds like
it's-
you're way
well, it's
behind
because-
because you should already know.
I didn't know, and to me it was like, you know, it's just I don't pay attention to any of like the award stuff,
Yeah.
and so it was like rock and roll. I wasn't. It's almost like it's like the Hollywood Walk of Fame for like artists. In a
Third
sense,
from the bottom.
right?
Third from the number one.
No,
and
no.
third
First
from
of
the
all,
bottom.
just so you know, Black Sabbath is already in. This is him for
Oh,
his
okay,
solo
yeah. So
career.
I was about to say, I was
That
like,
hasn't been acknowledged yet?
No, Black Sabbath already is though. That's what I'm saying. Black Sabbath is the band has already been inducted a while ago. This is
Ozzy's just.
so he
going
might be
solo.
one of the few people who
Shout out-
potentially is in
shout
there
out
twice.
Sade.
Oh yeah,
Lots
Sade.
of
Oh,
jokes,
you know,
lots of jokes
there's
there.
some really deep lore around
Lots
Sade.
of, man, that's
And does
the
it
deep lore.
have to do with self-pleasure or no?
No.
It wasn't self-pleasure,
No,
but
no,
there was
it's,
pleasure involved.
Tribe called Quest.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Obviously, not a lot.
Name.
First of all,
There's
I
a pimp
I can see her
named
making it.
Slickback.
I-
You say the whole thing.
I expect her obviously share. Yeah, Dave Matthews Band. Hopefully, it takes him a long time, and I have no idea who that is. Foreigner.
Eric, you don't know who Eric B. and Rakim?
No.
They were, it's rappers.
Paid in full, son. Oh, Matthew.
He's looking him up.
Oh my
See,
lord.
we was educated.
You know the.
I-
You
we
know
shouldn't-
the.
we
You
shouldn't
know.
get, you know,
I ain't no
super-
joke. Eric B's president. Don't sweat
No.
the technique. Move the crowd. I know you got soul.
Paid in
I just
full.
wrote a song.
Oh,
Paid in full.
Wow.
I'm just
Paid in
re-
full.
re-
If you
reading
play
song-
the first,
reading
if
song
you play
titles.
the first 10 seconds of Paid in Full, you'll know.
I'll have to do that
originally-
later.
It
Let's
was
see.
originally Eric B. and Rakim.
Foreigner?
Everybody.
I feel like their
Not
punchline.
copies, yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Peter Frampton comes alive.
Jane's Addiction.
Peter Frampton.
Which is funny because he's most famous off a live concert album, which I feel like that's a rarity. If
That
not one of the
was-
most rare things. His best-selling Frampton Comes Alive was a live concert. And for that to
Really?
be one of the top-selling albums of all time, I mean, I don't care about it, but I think that's fascinating.
That is fascinating.
Jane's Addiction.
He's the guy that made the guitar talk, right?
How do you feel like I'm yeah, he
Yeah.
popularized or basically made the talk box.
Like
Oh,
the,
okay, okay,
what's
yeah,
his
yeah, I
name
got
with
you.
And then he was on the
the
Geico commercial a
California-
few years, I
The
think.
dude that's
okay.
what's
California, okay.
California.
I didn't know they were a band.
Tupac, Dr. Dre,
Shook Shot.
this motherfucker.
Let's see. Jane's Addiction.
no,
Okay,
no,
they
no,
had
we're
like
using the Peter
literally
Frampton
one
shit on
song.
Nothing
I don't know how
Shocking
they
is a
had
really
such
good
staying
album.
power.
Jane's Addiction.
I did as far as like pop
What are
popularity.
3 Jane's Addiction songs?
Of course,
Brent?
Caught Stealing is the only one that anyone knows, right?
Brent. I need Brent. Can
Yeah,
give
Brent-
me more than 3?
Song.
This
Put
name
me on the
for
spot like this.
If Brent can't
he's
name
like standing
3,
in the shower thinking. What's another?
you're the most hardcore fan I've met.
I'm honestly,
seriously,
I'm
Okay,
very
see,
impressed that he named that many. I'm
dude,
sitting
this
here
is-
looking at these names, and
had
I'm
it
just
No,
Cat
like,
that's
stealing
right
was
in,
when I
this is
was-
right in Brent's wheelhouse, and so if Brent can't name 3,
They could
then,
be in my
like,
wheelhouse, but
You put me on the spot there at first.
it's hey, if you think of it in the next few minutes, just raise your hand and we'll allow you to
Please
speak.
don't. We'll just act like that it didn't happen.
Okay.
Sorry.
so that was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But what else is trending? What else happened, man? This
Yeah.
is- I want some nitty gritty stuff. What's going on? This is.
Actually, we'll see what's.
It looks so. What we're finding out is that there wasn't much that was trending.
I mean, the
this week.
Super Bowl and all the ads, which
Oh,
we
yeah.
needed to.
big
I
game.
didn't
Yeah.
even go and watch all the ads.
Okay, you didn't watch the ads.
Did you?
I missed
I watched
quite a few.
I watched all of the ads, and I'd have to say
Cheese Parade. Okay, I'm looking
that
at Cheese
there
Parade.
was some good ads.
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't
there
hate
was-
all.
Was the,
I didn't
okay,
hate all
tell
of them.
me the ad that you remember the most.
I
Regardless
remember
of if you liked it or
the
not,
Pluto
because that's
TV,
how you know it works.
Pluto TV couch potato.
Oh, dude, actually, that's one of the few ones I saw, and
Yes.
it is just kind of funny that
Yes.
Came in on the
Literally
tail end of it.
telling us what they're becoming fat people watching stuff as like,
It's
dude,
like
it's like a skit
It's-
from
it's
years
called-
ago.
it's like breaking the
it's
fourth
called
wall.
Dude,
almost.
it's idiocracy.
They're taunting
No,
you.
I love
They're-
it.
They're
Idiocracy.
yeah,
No,
they're
and
like,
that's-
they're taunting you. They're like, this is.
I
What's
saw them
happening,
like,
you're
dude,
not gonna fix
is this? They're actually making it seem like it's an appealing thing to be
It's
one
like
of
you're
these.
laughing. You're laughing at it while it's
Yeah.
happening.
Dude,
You're like,
that's funny because
hilarious.
that's one of the few commercials I saw, and I was just kind of like, wow, they were just embracing it. They're just embracing this people sitting in front
Yeah,
of
they're
devices
just like
watching.
You're gonna live in the
They're like
pod.
these people
Okay.
have no
So
respect
I'm
for
skipping
themselves.
Chiefs Parade. I'm skipping Lakers. I'm skipping Fantastic Four.
Oh,
National security
what
threat.
was was the Lakers thing about that Kobe statue? That they,
Purple and blue.
Oh,
no, it just has to do with the
it's
game.
about LeBron.
Fantastic Four update. Honestly, they cast Pedro Pascal in there. He's getting a lot of work, Mr. But I tell you what, I don't think the original Doctor Mr. Whatever Fantastic was the. I think he was a white man, but that's okay. They can make him any color they want.
Wait,
Pedro,
Pedro?
the actor is playing.
snap.
I think in.
Wasn't he in Domino?
Pedro
Wasn't he,
Pascal's in a
the
bunch of
sidekick in
stuff.
Domino?
I mean, Narcos
Pedro
was like
Pascal?
is like his real. big
No,
thing.
that wasn't. That
was
wasn't.
that dude's
my
name?
gosh, that was not Pedro Pascal.
Great.
That was
Perfect.
Embarrassingly
exactly what I
wrong.
wanted.
You
No,
are
no,
embarrassingly
that's exactly
far
what I
off.
wanted.
that was way no. That was
We
way
are
before.
laughing. We are laughing at you.
That was way before. he even started like doing
Came
stuff.
into the
He's gonna
social
fact
relevance.
check.
Yeah, that was with Keira Knightley, right?
Yeah.
Yup.
It was that time. It was the.
And it was
Mickey
Tony
Rourke.
Scott movie because it was overly stylized with his directions. But Tony Scott did Man on Fire, didn't he? Right? So
Yeah.
that's like.
And then he
that,
did.
then
What
that-
was he? Wasn't there another
he
one?
also did the original Top Gun, I believe.
No,
believe it or not.
I thought there was another one that was a lot like Man on
Dude,
Fire
you know
that
what?
he did
The
that-
thing about Domino's always stands out. Corey, he said there's a scene, and it's one of those random scenes where someone comes in and they get fired. They say, "You know, you're fired. You got 2 weeks to clean out your desk." And he's something that was like, I got whole 2 weeks to clean out my desk. Don't you know me? Tell him like, get the hell out of here.
Can you imagine?
It's like, you know what? We're fed up. Your ass is fired. You got 2 weeks to get out of here.
Can you imagine taking 2 weeks to clean out your desk?
Are you thinking of
like
this guy?
a single pen at the time.
Yeah,
Edgar
that was the
Ramirez,
guy I
That's what I was
thought
thinking.
Oh, you're thinking of this guy? He is
Yeah,
apparently
no,
in a commercial, wasn't he?
So, the
She doesn't
Christopher
have
Walken.
natural blonde hairs. So
Wait, that was not. Hold up. Go back.
Lucy
Yeah, wait a
Jew,
minute.
That was not. Wait.
No, that was
The guy.
Daryl
from-
Roy Lindis.
Yeah, he was in there.
What are you
Yeah,
confused
that's,
about?
That's all of it.
Yeah,
Mickey
yeah,
Rourke.
which-
Look at Mickey Rourke looking
I
like
know.
somebody's
That's
grandma.
what I think confused me. I
Mickey
saw
Rourke
that.
looking
I
like
wasn't
somebody's
reading
grandma.
names. No, Lucy Liu. I don't remember when she was in it. What
was,
character she played. Either
like
way.
a henchman
Either
or
way, I
something.
don't want to.
A henchman.
Okay, next clickbait: national security threat. But let's see what it is.
Oh my goodness, really?
U.S.
Is
has
there-
new intelligence on Russian capabilities. Okay, whatever.
At the end of the day, guys, they just want you to be afraid.
Yep.
Be scared.
Ooh, Bayern Munich. That is the German Bundesliga
It was
related.
a
You can
kickball
skip that.
game that ended
Oh, look, heart.
1-0, as many of
This
them do.
trending word is heart. Me and my chronically broken
Corazon.
heart. Don't care. PSG parent, dude. A lot of these end up being soccer related. I don't know if you've noticed that over the last few times we've done this. Got PSG, but Paris Saint
Yeah,
Germain.
the soccer. I don't
Oh,
know.
it is it's Valentine's Day also.
Happy Valentine's Day. Will you be mine?
Yes.
Wow, that was cool. That was easy.
I wonder what my wife is doing in the other room with the baby right now.
He
Let's
was
see.
like, Matthew's like,
Oyster.
that's why she's upset today.
Okay,
He
what's
was like, you're doing the podcast
10
tonight?
oyster? I wonder if this has to do. Yeah, this is interesting. Saint Valentine. Okay,
Bro,
Cupid.
man,
Today's
So hang on.
today's trending topic. Amy Schumer is what in the hell could Amy Schumer be trending?
Polyamory. This is something you'd like.
That's number 18.
For polyamorous
Amy
people,
Schumer
there's
is
no
number
romance
15.
without
How's
at
that
least 3 people and 2 penines.
Yeah, we know.
Okay,
about
so hang
that.
on. Go back. You're talking about the poly.
It's like,
That's
Is
the
that, hold on,
poly-
wait, is this the thing?
That's the poly. Okay, no. So recently, the reason I had you go back,
is because it's
that was like something my barber was telling me about recently. I had.
Yo,
a whole,
I heard
so
you could marry 2 women.
I just recently got indoctrinated to this, and I was just like, oh, this is just like, you know, didn't they already have a word for this before? Wasn't it like?
No, you think of polygamy, right?
Oh, okay.
no, yeah.
They're
Polyamorous and
different.
polygamy, I guess there's technically a difference.
I guess
See, 'cause-
polyamorous doesn't necessarily.
They
Polygamous
might not
like
have to be
married.
married, yeah, because I think
Polygamous
that's
marry.
not
Polyamorous is
recognized.
just like
Like
just-
the law doesn't recognize, I guess, marriage.
either one.
Yeah, I don't even know if Utah does. Like as far as having
Yeah.
multiple legal spouses, But hey, we could all look into that and marry one another. Okay, this one's pretty lame.
Everybody's getting married.
Well, let's just see if there's anything else trending that's better. And
Well,
there's
man.
this a trend here. Let's see.
Yeah, as you know, trending. So trending this
Best
week is
new trends.
is it all just based off of search history? What's it going?
I don't.
off
It just
of?
depends on what website. We
What
look at.
happens,
So this is
or-
Google Trends. This is literally, I guess, where daily
Yeah,
search
that's why
trends.
it's-
Oh, okay.
That's why I was wondering.
Real time search.
Real
trends.
time.
Okay, this is going right the
This
now.
is to what where we are.
Dean,
look.
now.
number 1, Dean
Ligma.
Wade. Cavaliers, so that's basketball related. Number 2, Liga
that Dwayne
MX,
Wade's
that's
brother?
football.
Oh no,
that's
it's
soccer
Liga,
related.
Again, soccer.
Dude, it's all
That's
sports.
another soccer.
Maxi Kleber, wait,
Mexican
what
soccer.
happened with here? That relates to our home.
Yeah, that's our team there, guys.
Maxi
This
Kleber.
is Dallas.
Well, that's good news. Let's see. Oh, this is just the
Oh, he did
data
a
behind
thing.
his trend. Let's see.
Yeah, he did the
Probable.
thing.
Oh, so he's
Wow.
sidelined for.
The thing
Oh, so
went
we
up.
just must have got him in a. I don't even know the deal.
I
I've
don't know
been
what's
so out of
happening
it.
here.
My nephew would know.
Hmm.
Man, see this, dude? It's all sports related.
Everything
Ameri-
right now.
the world loves-
sports
America
are
loves
hot
some
right now.
sports.
Buy.
Son.
Okay, we look up one more side. See,
Do you think the NFL's fixed?
no,
You know, I just see all that stuff. You know, I've never asked.
It may
I've
not,
never.
it may not be
I've never
fixed,
asked
but
Matthew.
I feel like it's steered.
I've never asked you personally, Matthew.
Like, do I think it's legitimately
just gonna-
fixed? No,
just go
but
dry
do I
shampoo
think-
in front
Yeah.
of everybody.
Yeah, dude, I feel like I get my face all oily and kind of helps
Dry
dry it
shampoo
up.
goes
Dude, you can
so
do a lot of
hard.
stuff with it, man.
Dry
Yeah.
shampoo
I
goes
dry
so
shampoo
hard.
in front of everyone. I do it for my wife, my daughter, my neighbors. I don't care.
Some people get turned
But do I
on
think
when
it's
you
fixed?
dry shampoo.
I mean, not straight up, not fixed in the sense that everyone on the teams are carefully orchestrated.
no.
and not even. I mean,
No, just
powers
steered in,
that be.
just steered in minimal
Yeah,
ways.
whenever
to,
there's
like,
ways
keep
to make
things
money,
close.
I think there's always a power at play. To what extent, I don't know, and I don't care enough to sit there and be like, "Oh, damn, the game's fixed." You know, I think, that what they wanted to happen happened, or what they didn't
there's
want to happen happened.
There's
you
all
know.
the in between, the little in between, say the offsides that negates a 30-yard gain, or the holding call
Yeah.
that negates a touchdown.
Yeah, like if a
Things
team's
that keep
blown
games
out
from
another
turning into
team or something.
runaways and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was just curious. I'd never asked you
Yeah,
personally,
I
and I was
don't
just
think so.
I was an on the fly question I had. I was like, I've never asked Matt. Does Matt think that they're fixed?
I don't think so. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of annoyed whenever people watch a game and talk about it being fixed. I don't give a shit.
I'll take
How
it
much it
serious
can be
unless
fixed to
they're
an
not.
extent,
I'll take
but
it serious if they're not a fan of the team. If they're like not even a fan of like
just
anybody,
an outside observer
Yeah, just
watching
like-
and they're
the
just
game.
like,
that-
but if
that was
if you're a
just
fan of the
terrible
team,
call all the way
and you're like,
around.
yeah, man, this is how they fixed it right here. This is
Yeah.
where they screwed us, and it's like,
got us.
I think the other team just beat you.
You know, hey, wherever's money
I was just
made, I'm sure
curious.
that there's some power trying to make money or control it, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You got to.
Speaking of which, you got 2 5s for a 10.
And some bitcoins.
Bitcoins. Yeah. No, no.
Bitcoins are going
kinda-
up, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Is that
That's like over
getting
50
ready
now.
to double or something? Or
It's about
it
the
every-
half the
every few
halving. The
years?
halving reward's going to happen in March,
Yeah.
where the reward that miners get that incentivizes them to be the network gets halved every 4 years, which makes it even more scarce. It's a whole scarcity thing. There's less of it, and there'll be less of it because there's the set amount.
But then I heard too that because was it Argentina that had
They made it through legal. No, I think it was like
or it was-
Ecuador.
no, El Salvador. No, it was El Salvador.
Okay,
You're
they
right,
made it
because they're
through
the
national
ones that
currency
round
like a
up
few
all the-
years
yeah.
ago.
And so it was one of those things where like they're saying that it pretty much legitimized it to where it's like it's not gonna go away because
Yeah.
which like I mean I know currencies rise and fall and stuff like that. We can talk about the lira and
Yeah.
Salvatore Berlusconi and
Yeah.
all that. But either way, yeah, it's
No, yeah, it's not going
getting
anywhere.
ready to
It's,
go.
I-
Up, is
yeah, I
what
can-
I heard. And
Yeah, I can
know
go down a rabbit hole on.
I'm a troglodyte when it comes to that. So
You think you can go down a rabbit hole? You said.
Would you like rabbit
but-
holes?
So what? What didn't you have? You want to get into what you had to talk about?
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
as far
I do
as
have.
know you
I
had.
do-
I'm curious.
I do
You
have
told
a
me
lot
little.
to talk about, so I just want to make sure anything else.
I don't have.
anyone else might want to talk about because
That's why I've been.
it's about to get boring.
and he
No, I'm locked into hearing what you have to say because that's what I didn't really bring anything this week because I
right.
was like, I know Matt. As far as I know, you've got
right.
something good here cooked
I got
up.
something. So it's interesting to me. We'll see how interesting it is to you. Right in a moment.
All right, let's get into this.
All right,
subject.
guys. Thank you for being here.
We're back. Awesome.
So last week, it was there's things all of us are passionate about different things. I think my good friends know. Obviously, I love movies and film and everything. If you really know me, I honestly, to me, externally, it might not look like it, but music, like everyone loves music, But like I guess I love music. At least to me. Like, well, yeah, playing. So I like to play music. I like to create music. I don't like learning other people's songs for the most part. I will sometimes because it's fun. But ever since I learned how to play guitar, I just wanted to write my own stuff.
Yeah, it was like you did. Yeah,
I
when you
learned
but even when you were learning, I remember when you were first learning how to play the guitar, and even when you were first learning how to play the guitar, you had almost no interest in like where a lot of people will like learn how to play the guitar by like, how do I play this song that I like? You were just like, I want to learn how to play the guitar. But then again, Pops played the guitar. Like Pops
Right.
played
I
a
mean,
12-string.
he
like
did.
He was born with it. So,
Yeah, and I don't know that he ever wrote
You know.
his own music. Honestly, I guess I never really talked to him about it. I know he
Yeah.
liked it. I don't know. I don't get the impression he ever. I don't know. I mean, everyone loves it differently.
Yeah,
I
I'm
got
sure
into.
He did,
I'm sure he did.
some,
He-
but,
you know, I liked a lot more
but
rock
he was
and
very,
things.
he was a very. I mean, he's a very skilled guitarist in his
Oh
own
yeah,
right.
that was great. He needs to get out and play. I need to get on about that, just for
Yeah.
his mental, acuity and everything. It's very important.
Absolutely.
But so that's the music. I love music.
Yeah.
I love I love it so much, and I can just kind of show at least my expression of love for it. This thing is a little backwards, so it throws me off.
Well, it's okay.
So
There ain't no
like,
rush, buddy.
So I don't know. We can see how far back this goes, right? But so this YouTube Music used to be Google Play. It's a music service, right? A lot of people might have Spotify or something, but I have YouTube Music because it used to be called Google Play, and I
Okay.
basically going back. Let's see, it was 20. Basically, I would look for new music all the time, and so I created a playlist for every month of the year, and anything I found in that month in the year, so I can look through here and see. So going back 2015, here's like everything I found there. 2015 July,
Wow.
like 20, and I need to just no library playlist. Here we go. Sort by A to Z.
Somebody's gonna be.
So
super excited.
and I might have missed some months, but so it looks like I go back to 2015 and see. So yeah, like I would obsess about, and I would just
Hey, is that the guy from the movie? It's Jared.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
30 Seconds
I
to
was
Mars, dude.
kidding.
30 Seconds to Mars first album. I still give that
I
respect. I still give that
know.
respect. The second
my
album
God.
still is passable,
Last podcast ever.
but they definitely became dookie. But yeah, so obviously, my expression of love is like, I don't really like listening to any. There might be radio might produce good songs, and I'll acknowledge them when they are, and I'll like them if they're good. But for the most part, I don't get that much enjoyment or enrichment out of what I hear on the
Oh,
radio.
not at all. What
So-
were the hottest songs of June 2020?
I mean, no. Again, so these aren't necessarily the hottest. These are what I found in that month, and I listened to,
June
and I
2020, what
listened
were you
to.
listening to? No,
And
not
so-
August, June.
What was I listening?
June 2020.
Oh, it looks like I missed that month.
June did. No, you didn't. Bottom right. Yeah.
You like that? So we got Jenny
It was
Beth.
just the-
Oh,
the-
dude.
the little-
It's
what
funny
they call
because
it?
Arca is actually freaking nuts, and I think they're like
Who's this?
Arca.
just
They're
all
like a
album
really odd. I would call them experience. Here, let's see. I need to unmute.
Brent listens to a lot of their stuff.
Arca is like a singer artist because this thing's all backwards. So it's like
yeah, no, exactly.
Are they like a European
being
band?
facetious.
no, it's a person, and they're like
Oh. I
thought he was
really
gonna say a person.
ambiguous sexuality. They might. I don't know which way they go, but
You don't know.
They're weird.
They're trying
like,
to
if you
keep you
just look at their
guessing,
album
like an
art,
alien
just look at the
type
album
thing.
art. The album art is really odd.
Oh wow. Oh, that is interesting. I
like,
like it.
let's see. Yeah,
That
dude.
one was like almost
Yeah, no,
collie.
well, that was one of them it was showing, and then there were like 2 or 3 other ones that were was like, what the fuck were you listening to in June of
Yeah, like that
2020?
just is so I would just I would literally just go to allmusic.com, see what's coming out. I bet that art looks interesting. I'll listen to that
and
album.
then you would go from there.
And
And,
that's-
see,
yeah, 'cause you're-
and that's kind of where the thing they say about like don't judge a book by its cover, but I think sometimes it helps. It's like,
Dude, that helps.
hey, that book's cover looks cool, and then you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, this book is cool.
Oh yeah, and so from there, obviously I have those playlists, but then over the same amount of time, any songs that I actually like, I throw into this playlist called Good Feels, right? So these basically every one of these songs I like a good fair bit, or it moved me a good fair bit.
They're
so-
songs that he can
so-
listen to more than once.
So I'll just put shuffle on here, and I've got over 1,500 songs on here, right? Because not every song obviously makes it on here. Only songs that move me generally, and that can be any number of things. And so all this to say, I love music, and I was really fascinated with the connection between music and emotion, right?
Okay.
Literally, that if we were to summarize, what's this segment called? Music and emotion. But if you think about it, it's simple, but it's like, tell me a song that like, what's a song that comes to mind for you that really moves you, like makes you feel either. It could be happy, sad, energetic, but what's one that comes to mind that gets
right
you?
now, you just saying that is straight off the hip, a Run Around Sue. This might be stupid, but it's a song from from like the 50s or something.
I know that.
And
the song.
The song Run Around Sue, like it has the array. It has the funny effect on me
just play like
of
seconds.
making me immensely happy and also immensely sad.
Here's my story.
This actually is. I know.
Oh, Dion.
Yeah.
A lot of his songs sounded the same, but that's our indie artist.
She took my love.
I know, but I think I can only play so much of it. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, it's funny, Dion.
Yeah, no, that's one that is like probably
The Wanderer is probably his most popular one.
Yeah.
I always like this one.
Never settle down.
Yeah, it is a fantastic song.
Yeah, Dion. But so that one gets you going. Like, what's a song that could possibly make you cry when you hear it? Or does this mean not because it's sad, just because it does that to you? Or does that not exist for you?
No, it would probably be the song by Somewhere Over the Rainbow by the big dude from Hawaii. That one, man, dude, it has that. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
That makes
But
me think,
for
is that
forever-
a G-Money's wedding?
It never.
I mean,
to me, it doesn't.
funeral? His funeral?
That's why.
Okay.
That's why.
To me, that song, like, just like you can tell, there's something in that man's voice or something, his soul, the ukulele, whatever. That it's like, that song to me, like, that elicits a reaction.
It was.
And I've never. I don't know. I don't know why.
Okay, cool.
It was that same. Yeah, no, that song for a different reason, because like what you were saying was, shout out, fucking G Money, like tragedy.
Yeah, and that was
But
playing
it was-
at his funeral, and it was like,
his father, like,
and that'll be one of those
breaking
things
down,
where
it was like it was like I cannot hear that song and not think about that guy. Like, it's like making me tear up right now. Like, it's.
I know exactly what you mean. So there's that aspect, right? So, and that seems fairly obvious is a memory or an experience that there was an associated piece of music or some music was also there. Obviously, like he's saying, that can tie those emotions together, right? So those are just things to know. So I just kind of did some actual research, and I'll just kind of go through some of it, skim through some of it, because it gets pretty scientific and uninteresting, but to me interesting. So music has always existed, right? As far back as we are. And it's interesting, in 1996, they discovered a flute made from the leg bone of a bear that was found, like, supposed to be from the earliest times that we have record of man. So that, showing that they created an instrument as far back as they have record that man even was, right?
That's crazy.
Which is pretty crazy. And so then there's one of this, and there was this, I guess, music conference thing where I got a lot of this information from that I could cite later. But so there was like I got this all from some crazy, person who had a doctor in music and psychology and all this stuff. But so why is music special? So I guess as far as primitive man, there's adaptive. It used for survival, emotional, regulating physiological state and homeostasis, perceptual, cognitive. It can be a mental fitness indicator, like the ability to, a lot of it is make music, whether it's simple or not, or just, for whatever reason, there's a perceptual cognitive element.
That's one of those things too, where it's like, and not to interrupt or like take you off track, but along that same line where they talk about like listening to like classical music while you sleep, because it stimulates like higher brain function or whatever. It's like
in my mind, it would be any music. I'm sure they would specify classical.
But it was. I feel like the study that I'm thinking of, where it was specifically classical music.
And I believe they used it. And I'd like to see if they had a group that was non-classical.
Not a doctor, not a scientist, not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist.
Right.
Just saying. But like, yeah.
Oh yeah. So
But
definitely.
it does support like. brain activity and stuff like that. It's like it there's definitely something going on there with music, like
right. And so my mind
the way
is
that
thinking,
it,
what
touches you.
what is it, right? And so let me see. So one study was just kind of talking about, and this is, I think, a lot of it with dealing with some of it. So 7 C's is what this one study had. Is it helps create social contact, social cognition, copathy. I guess that's maybe sharing emotions in a group.
Co-empathy.
No, it's copathy was the word. Even though one thing,
Copathy?
yeah. So it's there's a lot of weird words that I got from the study. Communication's obvious. Coordination of actions, cooperation, cohesion. So that's kind of obvious stuff. But so what got more interesting to me was the emotional reactions from music. That's kind of what was trying to get to or learn more about.
Yeah, the bass.
And so if we just break it down, so if you hear music and you feel an emotion, so just looking at how we define emotion, it's the measurable brief response to internal or external events that are measurable. So it's characterized by 3 components. In I guess one school of thought would be bodily cues, subjective feelings, and motor tendencies. And then there's 2 other main theories or models for emotion that kind of fall underneath those. So there's Ekman's theory, which kind of has 5 different categories that try to encompass all emotions: sadness, happiness, surprise, anger, and fear. And then there's this other dimensional model theory, right? So this, I know this gets boring. It's like, what's he talking about?
No,
No,
it's
the
not
pug.
that. It was
Oh, the pug is
bro.
asleep,
The
probably.
Pug just took the deepest, snortiest breath ever.
Oh, yeah.
It was like,
Yeah, the pug will do that. So
No,
there's a
it's
complex or
snoring.
dimensional model, right? So we're kind of imagining a graph with the X and Y axis, except I guess it's Cartesian axis, which is just like a T. So the up and down, I guess, whatever be like your Y axis would be considered the valence, or like pleasantness to unpleasantness. So like the top of it would be like the most pleasant, bottom the most unpleasant, and then left to right would be arousing or relaxing, and then kind of measuring, it could be very unpleasant but still be very it could still
where they
stimulate
do,
you.
The 4 quadrant, like
Exactly.
political persuasion.
The 4
like,
quadrants.
Yeah.
Exactly. The 4.
So
that's a great
it's
way.
like,
So
yeah,
4 quadrants with the
High, low, left,
top
right.
being like pleasing, unpleasing, inaction to action, and just mixing those 2 together,
It was
just
a-
like
it was
hearing.
like conservative, liberal, authoritative, and the
just
well, it's
mapping
the
and
left, right, top,
using that
bottom
exactly.
type thing.
And so, and they've done a lot of studies, obviously, mapping music using those 2 models and those dimensions. And so that's just talking about emotion, right? So we've kind of defined emotion for the purpose of the conversation.
Yeah.
And then there's aesthetic emotion, which is, I guess, saying how music affects conscious pleasure or conscious liking and enjoyment. So it's just basically being able to acknowledge that I like that, it makes me feel good. And then aesthetic judgments, which is basically giving it like like whether it's beautiful or ugly. So it'd be like, oh, I like that, it sounds beautiful, or I don't like that, it sounds harsh, it sounds ugly. And these are just the way humans tend to look at and ingest it, right?
There.
And then mood regulation, which I think this is where a lot of people can get to, right? So there's 7 strategies identified to regulate mood by music. And I don't even know how to define these, but it's entertainment, revival, strong sensation, discharge, solace, diversion, mental work.
Wait.
you say
Discharge.
Number 4?
Yeah, I don't even know. So I could skip some of this. So the stuff that really matters.
We're not skipping
So
discharge.
social
We discharge.
emotions. So obviously music has social emotional component, right? The social relatedness, which that seemed to be pretty apparent. Just if you go out anywhere, music is, go to the club, go to the bar, go to concerts.
It's out there.
Well, and a lot of it too. It's like a lot of it is tied to. It was like I can think of a lot of songs that I never gave an F and S about.
But they got you going in the club.
Yeah, but in the club, man, it was like things be different. Sometimes you got to throw a chair, Sometimes
You gotta
tear the
toss it
club
up.
up, come on, and you got but
Yeah, man.
it's one of those things where it was like sometimes a song that you didn't care about could be playing in a moment that where it was like it's tied to that. So every time you hear that song that you may have hated for your whole life,
Yeah.
but it's tied to something.
Again,
this
there's
happened
the
in
memory
that moment.
association
Yeah,
that you have
it's
in with
that-
music, right?
Yeah, where they say talk about
And
like
so-
your sense of smell being,
The strongest, tied to memory.
and then
But
that
so
being, like tied to it.
exactly. So obviously, there's that strong connection between an experience you have in the song, but then taking the whole concept of experience out of it, and then obviously there's intense pleasure that people can get from hearing music. Right? They would. And they trigger measurable responses in the body and brain. So it's like whenever you get chills or like
man.
goosebumps from hearing the song, like
Yeah.
that's an actual physical experience that's obviously measurable in the brain. And they attribute.
I always thought I was weird for that. Like when I would hear a song and it would like give me goosebumps.
No, dude, that's how I know I love. Like that's
It's
how I know I love it. But
Yeah.
so the way there's a lot of studying and research behind what even would generate that response, and it seems a lot of these schools of thought would agree that there's an anticipation component, and then the experience component. So it's like when you hear a song and you're anticipating there's certain element, or if you haven't heard it, the song is written obviously in the way Western music or anywhere music theory is composed. It's leading you to something. So there's an anticipation and then the payoff from it basically, and that there's these parts in the brain called hedonic hotspots, right? Which is funny because you think of hedonism, but that's where this stems from, right? Because it deals with part of the brain that for like wanting pleasurable experiences like food or sex, but that's like that the science is the hedonic hotspot. So it's hedonism comes from the science, right?
Things that they're like basic levels or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
So a lot. I mean, a lot of it's fascinating just because of all this science and research done behind these.
Yeah, and how they even stumble upon these, conclusions is
Well,
fascinating.
they have they're doing tests and results that are actually measuring brain activity. That are so we know that there's these dopaminergic, so dopamine related pathways that obviously hearing music that's pleasurable. It's releasing dopamine, right? So there's actually a dopamine effect that you're getting from it.
yeah, no, it reminds me of is one of my favorite memes ever. It's like this snow monkey standing outside of a.
I just think of freaking what's his name every time I hear Snow Monkeys. Nolan.
Oh,
Ryan.
Nolan. Fake Nolan.
Fake Nolan.
Fake Nolan, yeah.
Yeah, fake Nolan. Shout out the
Snow
ticket.
monkeys.
Is it that Gordo?
But no, it was
Yeah.
a snow monkey standing outside of like a natural like hot spring or something. It was like you'd know the picture if you saw it.
Okay.
But it was like
Enjoying itself?
replaying. Yeah, exactly. Like in total bliss or whatever. But it was like replaying a really sad song because it didn't hurt you enough the first time.
Oh gosh,
And it's like, oh man,
that's funny.
Where it was like it just triggers something in you that is like
Yeah.
nothing else can. And it's like
Yeah, and that's
like going back a few episodes about talking about like being sad or feeling like you need to cry for no reason, where it was like it's just something in there that it's like it just literally, like they say, speaks to your soul.
Exactly.
Something that contacts you. It's like, hey, you don't necessarily know what you need, but this is what you need.
Yeah, no, because
You
exactly, and so there's obviously measurable effective responses to music on behavior. Uplift. It can uplift you. It can relax you, or it can activate you.
100%.
Yeah, physiology. It affects stress biomarkers with cortisol, systolic blood pressure, and heart rate. Regulates homeostasis, and so I mean, there's actual science. There's science.
Neuroplasticity. Process.
Neuroplastic processes. No, but there's basically science though to indicate that there can be an immune. It can affect your immunological. It can make you have a better tolerance and stronger immunity.
I think the neuroplasticity part was like the part where I was talking about when we were talking about classical music and shit like that.
Okay.
Where it was like certain ones would, and that was one where it was like it was causing the brain to build new neural pathways or causing the brain to be flexible.
Okay.
Whereas like the brain dulls over time because it's, it's not challenged. In
Right,
the way
it's
that
not
it
being
was
stimulated.
When, it was younger, when you're constantly learning things.
Right.
It's like once you hit 15 years old, you know everything.
Exactly.
So,
it activates immunological systems. So, I mean, there's basically studied and proven benefits on well-being and treatments of diseases. Obviously, that's not saying it cures diseases, but this really had me thinking. And I was telling this to my wife too. Like anyone, the effect of music is so powerful. I'll be like, if you're in a bad mood and you are, and you don't even have the energy or motivation to put on a song you like, do it. Like I feel like I honestly believe that they should prescribe music with other like psychotherapy. Yeah. Like say you're taking something to help regulate your mood or something. Honestly, I feel like they should be like, and they could do some kind of testing to figure out, okay, what songs are your songs that have this effect on you? Whenever you listen to these songs once every couple hours, like prescribe it because
everybody has songs.
Exactly.
It was like you got a song that puts you in a hole. You got a song that it's like I'm in a good mood. Like,
well, and I had
song.
seen a long time ago that there was something about like a dementia patient or to kind of back up what you're saying of the effect on the brain or that it has on people is there was, they play it to people that have dementia and cognitive issues and stuff like that in nursing homes, and they see that they can tell that there is a difference in them, and that all of a sudden a person who's like unresponsive.
It's like the Tony Bennett. Do you know about the Tony Bennett, Lady Gaga stuff? So Tony Bennett, if he's not dead yet.
Well, wait, what would?
No, sorry, no, yeah, you can.
I don't. You go ahead.
But it's kind of because it's like a real life example you could look up. Tony Bennett, if he's not dead, his dementia is really bad, to where he could sit there and have a conversation with you, but he still remembers all the songs and sings them. And did the performance with Lady Gaga, where like they couldn't even talk in between doing anything because he didn't know anything. But once they started playing, he sang everything and could sing everything like he didn't have dementia at all.
Really?
It was like our granddaddy with boxing. Granddaddy with Alzheimer's and dementia, where it was like it was like he couldn't necessarily put a sentence together at times, like where you would have to stumble and stammer through it. You would have to help him along, but it's like if he sat there and watched a boxing match, it was like he understood it at such a level that it was like he didn't even
But what did he do? What did he do to let you know that he was still processing? Was he saying? Was he he's able to talk about boxing?
He would literally talk.
So it's like he could be a coach almost. But once he's out of the ring, he couldn't talk about anything else.
Sort of.
Where it would be like it was like
he could still see the different. He could see what was wrong. He knew enough about it to tell.
He was bothered by what the guy was doing. Where it was like, no, he needs to be doing this.
You could read his reaction to it to tell that he actually knew what was going on and watching.
In other moments, it was like you could see that he was slipping. But in that, where it was like that was one of those last things to go because it was like he understood that he had refined those neural pathways to such a point that it was like. That was the last thing to go.
Yeah.
We're talking about like muscle memory. It's not muscle memory. It's neural pathways.
Yeah.
You build the neural pathway and you walk it down, and you'd walk that neural pathway down so long that, Yeah,
I mean that's something you've kind of talked about before, kind of like the ski slope thing.
Yeah, and that he was talking about how taking psychedelics is like a fresh snowfall because your mind is like a mountain with snow on it, and a bunch of skis going down it are like your thoughts, like a bunch of sleds go down it.
Yeah,
and it's like you get in these pathways. The more you go down that same place, the deeper that rut
like
gets.
if you're negative thinking. Doing that all the time, you're going to
continue to think that way.
Trend that way.
Yeah, you're in control of it, negative or positive.
Right.
Like that's where your brain's going to go, where the path of least resistance, because humans are lazy.
Yeah, exactly. But so in here, if you're actually watching, there's this kind of like a graphical example of that Cartesian axis I was talking about. And this kind of mapping, arousal versus valence or pleasantness or unpleasantness, and just kind of mapping musical emotional responses in these, and they're able to kind of categorize, okay, high arousal with, unpleasantness. They're able to be like, okay, if it's in a minor mode, if it's high intensity, if it uses staccato, if there's a lot of dissonance. And then if you work closer towards the fear emotion, there'll be a lot of shared qualities or characteristics. But I don't know if
that's interesting.
It's worth looking. You really have to kind of look at this this axis here that kind of shows you all the in the studies that the different emotions that they were able to measure from having certain musical elements like joy, happiness, fast tempo, major mode, right? So you got major and minor scales or major and minor keys in musical theory. But so basically, actually scientifically documenting and measuring as best they can music's the emotional effect it has on people. And so, as far as actually what mechanisms determine, it really just gets so scientific here about the different brainstem reflexes that are mapped to certain acoustic features, which is kind of what we were looking at a second ago.
It gets so deep in the weeds that it's like
you
lose some people.
Yeah,
it's like
I'm lost even talking about it.
Well, and it's like, but if you're into it, it's like right in your wheelhouse, and it's like I'll spend 26 fucking hours researching this shit.
Well, then
you're like, dude, the music is the way you feel like this, or the reason you feel it. He was like, this motherfucker is crazy.
One interesting thing was this. I guess that they call it contagion, but it's obviously not in the sense that you normally think contagion, but acoustic features common to music and voice emotions. So literally talking about music that sounds like a voice, or because technically music is a language, and it's technically, I guess, probably the oldest universal language. You can speak. It is the only, in my mind, forever universal language. You take anyone from any country, you play them a piece of music, and there's a
musical note is still the same musical.
note, or like a sequence of notes are likely to elicit an emotional response regardless of the language that the written language that you speak.
Yeah, there's something in your DNA.
I'm about to have an existential.
Well, and that's what I was just going to say, like, to go back, something I remember what I was going to say earlier is when you were talking about, like, the healing aspect of it.
Yeah.
One thing that I had heard about was, like, they were talking about, like, bells and stuff. Like how bells with the resonance and the frequency they cause, and things like that. Like how
that's funny you mentioned. Yeah, because there's the oscillating aspect, right? Because physiological systems couple as oscillators, and if you kind of get into everything's vibrating, there's vibrations to everything, right? So there's rhythmic entrainment, and so that's the propensity that's crucial to bodily homeostasis. Which I've said that word, but the definition is just the maintenance of a constant internal environment in the face of external perturbations. So it's just kind of maintaining your internal balance in the state of existing, right? Yeah. So if I'm gonna be in any environment that's hectic or not hectic or whatever, I'm maintaining my homeostasis. It's maintaining my being.
You want your music to match your environment. But what was it you were saying?
But just tell me. Oh no, yes.
No, that was it. I don't.
Okay. Yeah. So there's something to repetition in music helping entrainment, but then there's a cutoff where too much repetition, it loses its effect, and kind of I was talking to Mikey, had the thought of it's almost like building up a tolerance to a drug or anything,
or working out.
Yeah, if you so literally with music, if you keep hearing something over and over and over too much, it loses its power, and it's almost like you build up a tolerance to it. So there's, I guess, what they call the sweet balance, right, between repetition and change. That's, I guess, in music, that's the sweet spot. Obviously, is something needs to be repeated enough, and a lot of times there's a motif, right, where it's like a theme that kind of changes and evolves, but it's like there's a defined backbone that goes through it all. But then at a certain point, you have to change it. And sometimes change can be silence, right? Mm-hmm. Which is another thing. A lot of times in music, it's the space between sounds that are just as important because they make the sounds you're.
About Dave Matthews, they just got inducted into.
No, they got
Rock and Roll
nominated.
Hall of
They got
Fame.
nominated.
They
There's
went-
space.
between
Yeah, man.
those wicked lies.
So yeah, it's.
No,
then there's the
sorry.
components.
Can I just
No,
make
yeah,
a
go on.
remark?
Yeah.
No, and this is just, again, it's funny that what you're saying, I've heard, like, it's so funny what you're saying because, like, again, back to, I've mentioned him before, but Alan Watts. He even mentioned something about
who?
Alan Watts. I'll say his name again. But no, he's mentioned like what you were talking about how repeating the same thing will lose its effect, and he was saying about how like Bach and these other composers from back then, it's like they got famous
That's
for
how you get the
doing.
bestiality.
Okay,
Sorry, what?
but he was saying that, like,
How many people get bored?
he said that it's like they got famous or whatever, or something in one of their songs was noticed, and so it was like they noticed, for instance, and this is I'm doing the best I can to remember what he said, but I read it in one of his books, but he was saying that like
Yeah.
his point was that it's like, you know, holding this note, it's like they build up to this point and they hold this note, but then he was saying that the problem is they don't let that note go. And they keep holding on to it, and it loses its effect,
Right.
like what you're saying, because it's
Yeah.
almost like you're holding in your breath, and if you don't let your breath go, you can't breathe in again. So it's like
Yeah.
you can't keep this thing going. And so what you're saying, too, about the space between things, he's, again, made mention about how this space between stuff is what creates this overall. It's that more or less the gap between
Right.
the notes and stuff.
It's like light and dark. I mean, it's like one doesn't exist without the other.
And you
Yeah.
need it. You need it so very much. You need that negative thing to go with
Yeah,
this
the
to
negative
make this.
space.
Negative space is
Yeah.
exactly what
So
creates.
that was all my
No, that's, and again, that's how this all connects, you know, because that's, again, what I love about music. It's just that it addresses and pertains to just the way the brain functions in many walks of life, right? Just even just repetition, and it, not even just music, but like Chris was talking about working out,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
just
Or
anything. You
well,
build up a
Well, I
tolerance.
know, like for you with running, it's like I don't run because I ain't never fucking ran.
Chris doesn't know how to.
I don't
I've
know
seen
how
him
to
try and run.
Ain't nobody
Man
run.
tripped
I don't
over
even know how
himself
to
5
run.
times in a row.
You're like, who won it? No, but got a friend. My friend Nikki. It's her birthday today. Shout out Nikki.
Shout out
She's about to
birthdays.
get her fucking black belt in like a month or two.
In what?
Which like in fucking karate. She's
Karate, so
fucking
she's a
badass.
kindergarten. That's cool.
Yeah, no, hey.
I'm joking. But what adults take karate?
Hey, you know what?
I'm joking. That's awesome.
But either way,
BJJ.
where it was like, she had recently gotten into running, like in conditioning for the black belt test because that was part of it. and
Yeah.
stuff. There's a certain level of conditioning to it.
Yeah.
And
Does she have to
where
run into
was
gi?
Specifically, well, no, she was specifically looking to increase her pace, but because like you get set into a pace from running,
Yeah.
she was specifically looking for music that had an increased beat
Yeah.
so that her feet could
Yeah, no,
naturally
basically,
keep pace
yeah.
with the music. And so she was specifically
Yeah, exactly.
seeking out music with a certain beat per minute to increase her run time.
Yeah.
Which, like, that's
Which
that's why I brought all of that up.
No,
to
it's
say
funny
that,
you mentioned like beats per minute because they even look at classical musical pieces and they
It's
look
the
at
same with, like,
well they look at
boxers and
the
stuff
average
and training
resting
with a
heart rate
metronome.
and they look at the tempo that certain pieces were written in, and I don't know if it's Beethoven or just like them like matching the heart rate,
Yeah.
or there's basically there's the physiological rhythmic response that it literally you get connected to it, like
the
literally
trick is
physically.
not to accidentally hit the brown note right in the middle, though.
Yeah, and that's your
The
intention.
brown note, you always run into that issue, though. You could unexpectedly hit the brown note if you work too hard.
Yeah. So repetition, a music specific mechanism, repetition versus change, right?
That's awesome.
Expectation, prediction, and surprise. So it's you're expecting a song or a note or sequence of notes to end somewhere, and then when you get there, just the payoff and the dopamine response that you basically get. And there's something called a value of prediction error, where the value corresponds to precision or incentive salience, right? So I guess there's models to where are anticipating it to be something, and it ends up not being that, and obviously
Where
the
it's
lesser
like a
effect,
delay.
or there's the where you weren't anticipating it, and then it does pay off in a way, So again, there's like the hot spot of syncopation, with change, and it's I don't know, it's yeah. And then kind of getting back to we started out with extra musical mechanisms, so the role of internal or external context. So that would come to memories and experiences, right?
Where it's like you hear something that you didn't care about in a moment that was like highly poignant to you.
Right.
And it's like, I remember I hated that song my entire life, but in that moment I heard it and it was like, man,
Yeah.
this is my favorite song in the world.
Or like at a funeral, or if there's a song you and a friend had and then they passed, or, there could be any number of reasons, right? So visual imagery,
Like that, Brent? Any songs like that?
you
that
can't
just like-
stand to hear because
or
of
they,
some.
or they just hit you that, or it's like
Whether you're
man, when I
happy,
need
sad.
like when I need to feel something, it's like I like to. He's a huge Nine Inch Nails.
Oh, dude.
Stuff
There's
like
some-
that's like
Dude,
something I
Nine
never
Inch-
had
dude.
that's
Band,
like
bro.
a song I almost
Dude, Nine
don't
Inch
listen
Nails,
to.
man. It's funny. I've been listening to them the last week.
No,
I mean, I've
that's
liked
his-
them a long time, dude. But going back, right where it belongs,
Yeah,
is one of the best songs.
That's his favorite.
That's one of
his
the best
favorite
songs ever
band.
written, dude.
No, dude,
Hands
yeah.
down.
Right where it
I mean,
belongs.
That was a really, really good fucking song, and it was off of a later album.
I know, right?
Yeah, no,
But dude, I feel like,
But like,
and it's
you have
crazy how old
songs-
that is now.
You have song. I mean, I'm sure it was like everybody's got one, or something, they just like cue up, and it's like, even if it makes you sad, it's not even like, it's like, yeah, it makes you sad.
Dude,
No,
I
it's like- but
love
it's
it
like
when
a
music
good
makes me
sad.
sad.
But it's like a good sad.
Like,
Where
a
it's
lot of
it
my
reminds you
favorite
saying
music
where
is
you're
stuff like that.
Man, like,
Like I'll give you a few examples of like snippets of songs that really move me. But I'll just move to a couple of a little bit more of the science, not too much more, just because it gets nutty. But self-awareness aspect, we won't worry about that. So the individual, right? So the individual component, which is obvious, is can science assess the phenomenology of subjective experience, right? Effective responses to music are a subjective experience, right? So basically they might be similar, but it's still subject to each individual. And familiarity and expertise might change the way music is processed by an individual. And there's even personality and
change.
genes. So
it's gonna change how you see the picture,
Yeah.
just through your own personal perspective.
but also
It's
if
like-
you're raised in
You see-
people identical,
yeah, where it's like, how does somebody look at that? You just like, oh, I see the,
Yeah,
the magic eye
Where it's
thing.
like, no, like somebody.
Oh, the
where
drawing
somebody
where it
looks
could
at
be
a
two
picture
things, and it's
of-
either like a
of some
dick
shit
or it's
smeared on-
something else.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a GG
A
Allen
Rorschach.
t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, I could see that.
Yeah,
in this moment,
only
it was like,
1% of people see this. You see
Yeah,
that
it's just
clickbait
like,
that does
yeah,
that?
It just
Yeah.
looks like poop on a t-shirt. But, somebody.
I was gonna say it made me think of a joke again. I heard it was just from Alan Watts. It was hilarious, but to back up what you just said about how you see it from your area, it was like the joke was, did you hear the story about the tailor that went to meet the Pope? And then it says whenever he came back, he was asked, how was he? And he said he was a 42 long.
Yeah.
So the point is that
Yeah.
you see the world from your
person
point of
through
view.
Your eyes.
And so he's a tailor, so when he saw the Pope, he looked at him, he said he's a 42 long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you see things
measure
through
it.
your perspective.
Yeah. No, I
So
love
that
it.
was like a really funny way I thought that like could help people understand what you're talking about in such a funny little caricaturized way.
No, I love it. But the interesting part is there's that aspect of it, right? But then I guess science, and I don't know how far it's gotten in improving this, but even if you were to take say you took twins, right, that were raised in like completely identical circumstances and shared every same experience, genetically, like if you, or I don't even say twins, like take two kids that aren't, because I guess if they're twins, theoretically they would feel the same thing, but you could take the role of just genetics and genes and your personal response to where, like, I know me and Brandon love music, but there are a lot of songs I know he loves that like just don't do it for me. Just
Well, and there's
a lot of my favorite songs I know don't move him in the same way,
Well,
and we
and
both
see, and that's the
equally
thing,
love
too,
music.
is
So
that-
I'm saying, so there's all those other aspects that could familiarity, experience, expertise. But I'm curious as far as just pure genetics, what someone is predisposed to feeling about music.
Okay.
So
Because
I
there's
think
days where there's not a lot of empirical evidence, but like other than you could get a bunch of people in a room and say for the most part they want their life experiences have been identical as can be. They hear a song, some of them might cry, some of them might not. Like there's still likely
Some
a
might be
genetic
totally
component.
unaffected, some may be really
like in our
affected.
DNA that affects what we might feel for music. And I don't know. That's
what
what I'm
year-
curious to see where the science goes there, because there's not a lot about it,
Yeah, well,
'Cause
that's
it's
also
tough.
like another theory I've heard about too, with fighting and stuff, with like different how like you know
different cultures.
there's certain things growing up that like you don't have to do something to know that it's bad for you, like touching fire to know it's hot, stuff like
Well,
that.
I don't know
Maybe,
about
or,
that.
like,
That's a bad example for
well,
me.
okay, for example, like okay,
Some of my favorite
so
Matthew stories.
like whenever it pointed like
Hey, Chris, see that fire?
like snakes and stuff like that, you already like kind of know. As far as I understand, like I always was like I never really needed to be told that snakes were bad or like that you should instinctively
Or that pugs
fear
are
'em or
friendly.
whatnot. But yeah, exactly.
Like, look at this thing.
Yeah.
This thing wants
Had
you to
I
love
had,
it.
that's why I just picked her up. I had no idea. She could have bit my face off.
Yeah. So, I
That was a
mean,
bad example. Forget it, okay?
no, it's cool. But,
No,
so
it's
yeah,
not.
I mean, I read a lot, I listened to a lot and about this whole idea. And I've kind of, it just kind of gave me a lot of different takeaways that at the end of the day, I feel like anyone who's thought about it probably, with a decent, not even education, but just outlook on life, it makes sense. It's just cool.
Well, and
it's cool seeing the science
Well, and
and,
it's
and
like,
the
yeah, not even-
the measurements and that they've done in the studies that
Well,
would, yeah.
there's been a lot of times where it's like I'll just where it's like you hear a song and it's like just out of nowhere you get fucking goosebumps, and it's like, why the fuck? I don't fucking get goosebumps. I don't, it's like,
Oh man, I
why
live
did
for
this-
them.
No, I know. But I'm
that's what I
saying,
live for.
like, but it's not something that happens to me in my day to day.
Oh, no.
It's not something that happens like outside of music. But
And that's
like,
funny.
why does this affect me in such a way when like I hear this certain song or this, whatever? And
Yeah.
So it's like it's interesting.
No,
to see
yeah,
it,
it's
like,
interesting to
broken
say that
down on,
because
like,
it might have been
an
our
actual,
first
like,
episode.
physiological.
One of our first episodes, I was saying I could probably, if I needed to cry for any reason outside of thinking about maybe one or two specific events, music makes me feel more emotions on a consistent basis than anything else in life. I mean, other than
Yeah.
now like
Wife,
definitely
kid.
wife and
Yeah.
kid and the kid emotions,
There's
man.
been no disclaimers.
Kid. I'll tell you what, man. The kid emotions. I can't. It's
Uncomparable.
ineffable, undescribable. Like
Yeah.
it's you read and you hear about. At least
Well, you've
for
got
me,
another one,
but
you've got another one here.
yeah,
so,
and
like, you
it's
can-
not the same for everyone, right? But
No,
for me,
but
like
Brent
I
knows-
can't-
Brent knows
like
exactly
loving,
what,
like I would just stand there
you
and
couldn't
hold her,
watch-
and I would just no matter what I'm doing, if I'm taking care of her, it's like that's the most perfect thing
No, it was-
that I could be doing.
the
You know?
the greatest example of it I think ever was where it was like I said, I've worked with Brent for fucking 20 years. Your daughter's what,
Me-
13, 14. So it was like you figure what 7, 8 years I knew him before he had a daughter.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
like we used to hang out, watch movies, like whatever. It was like you watch a movie, you suspend disbelief and reality and everything
Yeah.
else, and you just watch a fucking movie.
Yeah.
But then it was like later on, after he had kids, it was like he, watch a movie. There'd be a scene in it where something would happen with somebody's kid or something,
And
And it was
it-
like, and I could see how it would visibly. Affect
I know,
him,
and
I
dude,
knew
it's
that,
weird.
He he's not soft. He's not like.
It's weird because
but
I'm
that
going
it's
through
like
that
he
now.
was able to empathetically like put himself in that place. Like
I know, dude.
What would
It's
I
weird.
do in that moment? Like I never understood what that was like.
It's
And
like it's like you understood it, but you couldn't feel it. You know what I mean? It's like the whole thing's like you're saying, Chris. Like I can be like, okay, I get what they're building.
Yeah.
I can get myself in the head of this character.
I can get myself as close as I possibly
Yeah.
can to it. Like, what's the thing that like I would hate to lose most in
Yeah.
this world? And like, I can get there, but it's like,
Yeah.
you're still not.
Yeah, just like
there.
this new show Expats
Yeah.
where it's themed around like this person's kid gets like basically kidnapped in broad daylight, like because they looked away for a split second, and obviously that's sad, and you don't have to have a kid that, but it's actually, it's just like actually having a kid,
I
it
used
just
to-
changes.
Yeah.
It's just the weight. It just changes everything, you know.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. No, I was just gonna say that you were talking about like looking away for 1 second and being. I used to be scared before Harley even passed away. Like
Yeah.
I would go inside to a store or something, and I'd be worried somebody's gonna break the window and take him because it's like Harley ain't gonna do shit. He's gonna be like, "What's up, dude?"
Yeah,
well, like,
so-
yeah. So I would, I even while it's dumb, it's like my dog.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that, like having. I've
Exactly.
heard people say, I don't know where I heard it, probably a movie. It's where you hear everything. But it's where I hear a lot of stuff. But
The truth.
It was in the movie, like some movie. I think maybe they said it was
Snakes
like
on a
having
Plane.
a kid. Yeah, Snakes on a Plane. Samuel L. Jackson
Yeah.
said having a kid is like having your heart walk around outside your
Yeah,
body.
having your heart outside of your body.
Dude,
It's like that's what,
really
because it's
is,
like
man.
you can't protect it. It's like because
Oh,
it's the most thing. It's the thing that's most important to you, and you have all this. You can. It's like you feel it, but it's like you can't
Yeah.
protect it the same way you can protect yourself.
and,
It's
and
out
man,
there.
I pushed yesterday
You know?
and asked my wife. I'm all about, I know baby's gonna cry. That's part of it. So I can tolerate her when she's like distressed or see me crying, and like not be like super troubled by it. Whenever I know it's just par for the course, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a certain point in time where you need to let them cry it out. Like if they're alone, if they've been fed, changed, whatever, they might just be tired, and it's like at a certain point you have to let them cry, or else they'll be conditioned to think I'm always gonna show up, But there's like a certain age when you're gonna do that, and so there's a lot of discussion around when's too early to do that, when's too late. And I'd read that a lot of people be like, well, I wish I did it sooner because it's been harder to break them to be able to sleep in a room without me, blah blah blah. And so I'll measure it. Like so when Stephanie was running errands, I had her in the other room, and normally if once she starts crying, I set a timer, a stopwatch, so I can see
got
know
like
how
a
long she's been
combine-
doing it, right? And
Yeah.
Combine handbook.
normally like within 5 or 10 minutes she'll stop. And I let it to get to 20 minutes and she still didn't stop crying. And man, I went and got her. Dude, she was making this little whimper like she thought I was never going to come back.
Like she was like,
And
she
I
was
can
on her
almost cry
last
talking
leg of
about
crying.
this. I would felt so bad. Like I
You're
could-
like, oh my god.
and I was like, oh my gosh, baby, I'm so sorry. And I like held her the rest of
Yeah,
the night.
because you were worried that like you were worried that it was like almost one of those things that like, did I do irreversible damage?
I
or
wasn't
she's
even
gonna have-
worried about that. I
Oh,
just
okay,
know
okay,
how
okay.
Always
No.
going through my
I know how sad she was. I just know how she just this whimper I'd never heard before, and I was like, I am so sorry, baby. I'm so
That's
sorry.
crazy.
You can just say, I just still apologizing to her, and when I see her, I'm like, baby, I'm so sorry about last
Oh,
night.
that's so
I'm so
crazy.
sorry. It's
So-
like, man,
So full disclosure, I have no children, but
none that we know of.
No,
He's like,
no. I have
he's like, no, I paid to have those taken care of.
He's like, no, I did not.
No, I'm joking.
But no, it was like two of
Acting.
the best like parental advice, whatever's I ever heard was that was Mandy talking about it's okay to
Curse around them when they're
curse
really
around
young.
your kids when they're babies because they don't know. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just gotta let it out.
Yeah.
But
No, I think
One
it's
of
the
my-
emotions that you show that are more
Yeah.
important. Like,
Yeah,
don't get angry and
it's
whatever,
like-
but
yeah,
you can be like,
it's like
oh,
letting
how
it sit.
fucking... I'm sorry.
but
I apologize.
no, exactly.
That's the first time I've cursed like that on this. I apologize. But it's an
That's
example.
hilarious.
You know,
That's funny. I've been over here cussing like a sailor since this thing started.
How old was Zoe the night that the cat attacked or whatever, because that's when she knocked over the glass of milk. They were.
She was a year old.
Yeah, she was. His daughter was like a year old, and was standing there, just toddling around, as fucking toddlers do.
Yeah.
And there was a glass of like water or milk or something.
Was it half empty or half full?
Yeah, it was like it was full of something, but it was sitting on the coffee
If
table.
it was at my house, it might be urine.
And beep, beep, beep. But no, she walked up to it, like looked at Brent, and fucking just like pushed it over.
Like a cat does, like Chief
Yeah,
would do,
like
where
cats
he's
do.
like,
And creates this giant fucking mess. And as it's like falling over and like making this mess, she goes, like puts her hands on her head and goes, uh-oh. and no, in the realest moment of fucking humanity I've ever seen in my
So you were there, you saw
entire
this.
life. I watched it. Brent goes, you can't just knock it over and say, uh-oh. You did that.
it was clearly in like
And he was
intentional.
like, he loved her, and he's like, you're my baby, and I love you, but we watched you do
It's
it,
like-
and you can't do that.
She knew
She
better.
literally looked at everybody and
Yeah.
pushed it over and was like, uh-oh, and he was like, you can't just push
That's
it over
fine.
and say, uh-oh, it doesn't fix it.
That's funny.
I think it does.
Yeah.
I think you're doing your best to fix
So
it.
great.
Yeah, I think we're doing our best to take a quick break.
Oh, ba boom.
Ones that push and push and push till it hurts. Push and push till it hurts. Getting enough, I got me love, and it's so bad. It's so bad.
So yeah, basically, quickly recapping, I've gone over kind of quickly a lot of very detailed to non-detailed science that just kind of covers the broad spectrum of music and human emotion and the effect that music's effects on human emotions, and basically how all the different studies and schools of thought behind those music and emotion and just the human component of it all. So a lot of it, I feel like it makes lines up with what I would just kind of assume. But it is cool to see studies on the physiological effect and the whole rhythmic entrainment that deals with how we have oscillating biological processes that can kind of tie in to music and are just connecting to it. And then there's a certain point where repetition makes it lose its power, which kind of corresponds with anything building up a tolerance to something, and then many other areas of life. So I thought that was interesting. Almost in the whole immunological component, which I guess there's not a ton of science behind yet, but I know, like I told my wife, and I try to, if I'm not feeling a certain way, I'm gonna put this music on because I know it will make me feel better than I am now. And to where I firmly believe that it should be used in any kind of therapy in conjunction with whatever medication they might have, because it's almost like it's free medicine. So there's honestly, there's really no benefit for actual, practicing other than the benefit of the patient. But what if that patient realized they could listen to music without taking the medicine?
Yeah.
That's not a risk they want to take.
It releases those endorphins within your body that, where it's like, how many times have you listened to a song when you were in the depths of despair and been like, you know what? It's gonna be fucking okay.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's like, that's some powerful shit.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times it's like, have you listened to music that will put you in a hole, but then like at the same time too, like listen to a song that it's like, you know what, like that what's his name? Things are fixing to get real good.
Oh yeah,
That's
Daryl Dodd.
Daryl Dodd, man, that song right there. That's a country song that like.
See, that's
I don't
interesting.
care who
Like,
you are, that like that
I
song
just-
right
that's-
there. You can think
Yeah.
it's the end of the world, and you can listen to Daryl Dodd. Things are fixing to get real good.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, that It can
just-
change your whole perspective on the world.
It's interesting to me just because I do love music, but at the end of the day, I don't personally connect to or get into much country. Like it's something.
Well, it's
maybe
not-
I will when
yeah,
I'm older.
It's not.
It's just
not
it doesn't
necessarily that.
ca-
It's where it's just something. That
No,
just
yeah,
connects with you.
No, yeah, I'm
just
saying just
resonates.
take it out. Just it happens to be categorized as country.
Yeah.
You can say everything all the components and elements that go into making this song what someone would call country. I just haven't generally connected much with any of that.
No, 100%.
Which
I
is just
completely
just
understand that.
interesting. So again, the whole kind of going over what we've kind of
Well, it's like
skimmed
if
over
Brent would
is
be
yeah,
the
this
same way.
yeah.
Brent would be like, I don't give a shit about country.
Yeah.
Sure,
So
there's a certain level of nostalgia there, but like
Yeah.
listen to it as a kid, but it was like Brent wasn't listening to country music as a fucking teenager.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
He was getting kicked out of high school for wearing a Marilyn Manson t-shirt. Like,
Yeah,
you
that
can't
back
wear
back
that
in the
shirt.
day. Yeah, and then personality traits and genes, the influence they might have on the connection, music, emotion. Which again, it's more just it's not like there's some defined metric that we have that this kind of person generally likes this kind of music, but there's no argument really, a strong argument against that. Someone's genetic makeup would appear to have an effect on how music impacts them or affects them. It's just how we don't know what it is or how or how to even measure the differences, right? So again, I love music and emotion, and so there's a couple clips of just some random stuff. So it's like, okay, there's a lot of stuff that can make me cry, but on the rock and roll spectrum, there's this band called pg.lost. But I guess you call them post rock, probably, right? But this song, and start from the beginning, and it's pretty repetitive, right? But I get chills just thinking about it because it just makes me want to effing go, right?
Yeah, it just puts you.
And so, if anything, I hope that y'all are gonna be let down by it because I'm building it up. But I don't know.
It's just something that.
But hang on, before you play this, your goal with playing this, what do you want to? I'm not asking because I think you want to see something specific.
I want to know if you guys get as pumped up and feel like that.
So it's like
That makes, first of all, that sounds incredibly cool. Second of all, I just want to I want to get up and move, not dance.
Mm-hmm.
But like earlier, I was running and this song came on, and at that point I ran faster than I did the whole
faster.
run.
Okay.
It was kind of.
I got you.
It stimulated me to arousal, right?
It's kind of like one of those things
On the
where I was talking
Cartesian, it was
about
pleasant
where it was
and
like-
arousal. So it was at the top right corner of that
It
Cartesian
was like, yeah,
coordinate.
it just pushed you
Yeah.
to, yeah.
And it doesn't take long to get there. It's not one of those ones that has to build up there.
Well, I guess that's what I'm saying is that it's like I'm looking at
It just gets there
everything
quick.
you have queued up, and I'm looking at like
Yeah, and
the
I'm not
time,
even
and
gonna get
so
to
it's
them,
like
but-
no, and that's what I was saying is that it's like, are you just playing it from like?
Well,
that
I don't know
moment
how
in the
long I
song
have to
that
play.
means
That's the
something?
thing. So
I got you.
I'm doing my best to kind of work
I
with
was just
that
curious if
mindset.
you were playing the part in the
Yeah,
song
so here
that,
we go.
like, meant to you.
I'll be in my car. That's it, dude. That right there. That just gets my blood going. And now it's simple, right?
Well, what I like about it is that it's like they're riding. They reach that. They build you up. They reach that state, and then it's like you fucking
Well,
ride
that's
that
what-
wave,
what have
man.
what have we
That's
always-
cool. I
what have we
I
always
see
said
what you.
about-
I see what you see in it, whether you like the melody or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's that they get you to that point, whatever that point is that
yeah.
that you like about it, and then you just ride that fucking wave.
Yeah.
It's like you're building
Yeah,
up
well,
to the
the-
top
it's like
of it.
Tool.
and
Well,
you
yeah,
just
Tool
ride
builds
it.
up
Did it
to the
better.
orgasm. That's like their
where
thing.
It's like it's literally
There's some of
like-
that.
and then when it yeah
Then I'm gonna share it. I don't know because a lot of post rock speaks to me. So there's this band Rush in Circles, and this I'll have to skip a little bit because it kind of takes a while to get there.
I feel like
all.
too, though. So you pick a lot of this up from like movies and stuff too.
Not these
All the
guys,
movies- not all of it, but I feel like a lot of it is connected to movies and stuff we watch.
That's the thing. A lot of times, a scene that doesn't exist will be in your
reaction.
mind.
You'll listen to that reaction because of the way they use it with that, movie or whatever, where it happens to be a movie you enjoy and a song you enjoy, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh man,
So there's a build for this
perfect
one.
amalgamation.
But again, for this one, it just sounds incredibly cool and gives me a similar effect as the last one with the bigger build up. Yeah, look at me whenever you get to the park.
I'm just gonna look at you the whole fucking time. Dude, oh shit, that's wild, dude. That's I can actually see that. That's wild, dude. Dude, that's so cool. Because look at me, like I'm not affected by that like that at all. That's so cool. Because that's not to be like, oh, that wasn't shit. Because
That's
just because
the
I didn't
science.
feel that, dude. You putting your arm out like that and me
Yeah,
literally
dude.
seeing the
You see
hair
the
stand
hairs,
up
like-
on you
Yeah.
versus how I was
Isn't that
reacting to
interesting?
that is really cool because it's like I'm just sitting here like I do like it, but I'm not.
It does-
I wasn't feeling something,
Right?
Yeah,
Which is
you're not.
interesting.
And I'm not,
right?
and I'm not, because I'm not trying to sit here and be like, oh yeah, no, I feel it. It's
isn't
like I
that-
don't
it's
feel it. I think
fascinating.
it's cool.
I think-
but then I look at your arm and literally the hands are. You had goosebumps,
Yeah.
dude.
I'm not,
that's crazy.
I listen to music for that.
No, I know, but that's crazy
no,
that like
100%.
that you were because you can't normally. It's like how do you
I'm not
capture
faking
something
it,
like?
right?
No, I know it's crazy.
So
That's
it was,
wild.
and just into the, and I love electronic music, and I think because it really gets me to feel probably more consistently than the other music. I don't know why, but a lot of it's kind of translated. But I'll have to, and then just because I think this is beautiful, and this is just me taking advantage to share some crap that I think is beautiful. So, and that's why I asked you earlier. I'm like, if you had anything in mind, I know you mentioned the one, but let's see. So let's dance around 215 because this extended mix. Better we'll get to like the beautiful part. Okay, because to me, if you're familiar with music and what a fugue is, like in classical music, like a fugue where it's like there's the motif that repeats and builds and develops. And a lot of music does that, but something about the way this song does it gets me.
It's like it's
More than evolved. Yeah. Is that? you know, like Midnight City, how there's that
oh
sound.
my God.
It's that little
Yeah.
sound that makes right before the
How
break.
stupid,
That.
how stupid what was it? Was it Midnight?
M83. That's what I'm saying. M83.
Where it's like that
That's that little.
Yeah.
It's just like M83. Like
no, and
Midnight
that's
City.
exactly M83 or M83 is like a perfect example of a song where it was like I gave no fucks
That's
about
cool,
that
man.
song.
That was
I
a
heard
cool
that
song.
so
Dude,
much.
I'm telling you, man.
Well, I get it.
And here's one that
I feel
is
like I know this
nothing
one.
like the other ones. And this is literally. I don't know if it won't make me cry, but it's like it makes me. In the name of the song is "It Feels Like Floating" by Mary Lattimore. I feel like it perfectly describes this. And that's the gist of it. But
Really?
is it gonna make you cry?
No, let it play.
Okay.
I mean, fucking don't
I'm pretty sure she's a harpist.
sound it. Sounds beautiful.
Right, dude? Isn't that song freaking beautiful?
Yeah, it's like
It's one of those things like Gaga Hero or it
Yeah.
sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
no one. That's like kind of one of the things I was talking about, like classical music, where it was like it triggers it triggers those parts of your brain that aren't necessarily like normally triggered,
Yeah.
especially in modern society. You know, like
Yeah.
Ancestral
where
tunes.
it's just like, yeah, no, it really is one of those things. Where
Yeah,
it's
dude.
like, you're just like, why?
Yeah, because it's
Why
a pretty
does
big,
this
it keeps
fucking-
slowly building, but
Why
that's
does this
that's
fucking
pretty much it.
resonate with me?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just I was just like, yeah,
That's dope.
yeah.
Music's
I just
crazy,
want to I love
Yeah, there's
opportunities
a-
to force my music on people, but
But
I'm
no,
trying to think.
M83 was a perfect example of a
Oh yeah,
song
Midnight
that,
City.
like,
Wow, wow, wow.
yeah, well, it was a perfect example of a song that I hated forever, but I had a
You had to
specific-
acknowledge it.
Well, no,
too, though.
no, I hated that song forever, and there was can't talk, easy for me to say. There was a specific moment in my life where it was like I heard that song, and it was like I'm forever tied to it. You know, where it was like before that moment, I didn't give a shit about that song,
Yeah,
but it was like, you know, you hear it now, and you're like, oh man, it
yeah,
reminds me of that. you
yeah. I know what you mean. That's what I was like. You need for next time. I'm just curious because I know how much music makes me feel things. So I'm just curious what music does that for other people.
I like a song that I like is Jackson Browne, "Rock Me on the Water." That one like does something for me. I can't tell you necessarily. I guess maybe some idea why maybe, but I feel like it went before that. But "Rock Me on the Water" was one that like I don't know, for that always did something for me ever since the first time I heard it.
Look around you, the signs are everywhere. You've left it for somebody other than you to be the one to care.
Isn't that interesting? Oh,
You're lost inside your houses. There's no time to find you now.
Lost inside the house.
While
So
your
lyrical content's big on you,
walls
huh?
are burning and your towers are turning, I'm gonna leave you here and try to get down to the sea somehow. The road is filled with homeless souls, every woman, child, and man, who have no idea where they will go, but they'll help you if they can.
got an old soul.
But
Yeah, dude, I got chills. Like you couldn't. I didn't like say anything, but like hearing the song like gave me chills, man. Just because he gets to the part right here. Hang on, here it comes.
while the fires are raging, hotter. But the sisters of the sun are gonna rock me on the water now. Rock me on the water, sister, will you soothe my fever brow?
Yeah, just like you said, that build up that gets you there. You have that kind of that flow, and then finally they get you to that like kind of the.
Sorted or but it's like the same kind of element.
For me, and I like the combination of the lyrics and the tune. It doesn't always, for me, it doesn't always have to be lyrics that do it for me.
I'm right there
but
with
the
you.
combination does it.
No, I'm right there with you. Because sometimes it'd be like, man, those lyrics actually make the song better. But a lot of times, I mean, a lot of what I listen to doesn't even have a word thing. You know, it's instrumental. But yeah. I mean, the only example, because I'm just selling the rock, is just those like big rock payoffs. Tools could be like obvious to where I couldn't do it. But there's there's those Mars Volta songs that really get me going. I don't know. I'll just do one more. It's Halo of Nembutals.
Yeah, it's like anything with the build up.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's just like it's not cheap. It's just it's like there's a formula, and if it's done right, it works, and I love it.
100%, because everybody can.
The thing I like about Mars Volta and what I like in songwriting is kind of making most of a song kind of uninteresting or ugly, just to make the payoff that much better.
Even better. Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Brent just tuned out from the whole podcast. She played Jared Leto's band. He was like, he's the worst Joker. Oh wait, no, never mind. This is the Afros, right? This is at the drive-in. This is
Yeah, the other
after
band.
At the drive-in, right?
After at the driving.
When sooner or later, it's still not enough. What a foul little temptress your daughters become. Deviate all my means in name. 'Cause we are crawling quicksand the same. Deviate all means in name.
I feel like it just comes up nowhere.
Yeah, no, it really does.
Crawling quicksand the same. The night I've been
Kind of evolves from there.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I see what you mean.
Now, have you even noticed that I named our episodes weird things?
Yes.
I've noticed it,
Off
and I
of
never
the-
say that. I never say
names
anything
of
because
songs.
it's like,
They're,
I mean,
basically
song
they're
names.
names of songs.
yeah.
But so in that one exoskeletal juncture at the rail tonight is a Mars Volta lyric, so I might as well just play that part, just so you can even know why I.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I didn't even. I saw it and I knew that there was some big reason. I remember this album. Caleb used to have this album.
There's
Oh yeah, Caleb was
That's hilarious.
yeah.
That's why I remember Caleb listening to this song, and it's funny you said the exoskeleton. Yeah.
This is one of those like drops. Here we go. Get ready.
This song is nostalgic for me because it was one that it's a song that I never even like really knew the name of, but Caleb would listen to it.
Yeah.
I remember Caleb listening to it.
Mars Volta, I think, writes the most ridiculously weird, obscure lyrics. I think they intentionally do it. Like, I could be like, okay, there's artistic weird, but then there's like, I almost feel like it's a thing where like
They're just trying to see what they can get away
To
with.
make sense at all.
At all.
Unless they just think they're on some plane that's Even like exoskeletal junction at the railroad delayed.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, dude. But yeah, so that's all.
That's
I'll do
awesome.
for you. But yeah, just music. I love.
No, but I
music.
mean, I feel like this is gonna have to
Let's get
have
through
a better done part 2. in
Well,
the
yeah,
sense
I
of-
want to hear.
in the sense of getting getting deeper into what you were some of the research
Well,
you've
there's
done.
always
Some of the research you've already done on
lyrics.
the.
Transient jet lag, ecto mimed bison. This is the haunt of roulette deers. Ruse of metacarpi. Caveat emptor to all that entry here.
Yeah, it's like they're just
Yeah,
saying
Like,
words.
it sounds like Bruce Campbell reading the
Yeah.
Necronomicon.
Yeah.
Fucking.
It
Like,
sounds
no-
like these dudes got a hold of Chat GPT.
No, but they do. Mars Volta's done some pretty interesting stuff because I know this is a concept album that was based around. I don't remember. It's a concept album. I don't know if it's not like almost like a Enter the Void type thing. It's a
Okay.
weird concept album about. So I think maybe somebody in a coma or something weird.
Okay.
But they've done some weird stuff.
I
Because
mean, hats off to them for using their talent and
no,
doing
dude,
it
I know
oddly.
the Bedlam and Goliath. Like, hold on. Like, there's this one album that they did where they're like, let's mess with the Ouija board and like try and get in the spirit realm, and like shit started getting really weird. Hold on.
Really?
Yeah.
So
No.
wait, I feel like I'm gonna make this into an
Fits.
episode.
No, dude.
Pitts, do you know who did that first?
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people use Ouija boards, but I'm just talking about weird.
Trent Reznor.
Yeah, that's fine. No, but
Trent Reznor did it
I'm
first.
talking about weird stuff that started happening when they were doing it.
Hang on, yeah. What?
Yeah,
what's-
Chris, I'm not talking about them using it. I'm
What
talking about
happened?
like shit happening to the band. Let's see.
Oh, I got you.
So what happened?
Like, let's see.
So yeah, I mean, this just goes to prove number one, we haven't gotten into it yet, but why you shouldn't be fucking around
that
with Ouija
you can
boards.
write anything on Wikipedia.
No, that you shouldn't fuck around with Ouija
Oh,
boards.
yeah,
you can probably do
fuck
that
all
too.
that. Like, I don't
I'm just
even-
saying you
I don't
shouldn't
even
be-
Look at them hoes. I'd be like, that's a Ouija board.
First of all,
Yeah.
if you can't spell Ouija board, you shouldn't.
O-U-I-J.
You shouldn't. I wasn't asking you. I was just saying in general.
Yeah, no,
if
no,
people
Chip
out
and
there,
Jerusalem-
because I feel like half the time the people that play with them can't even spell Ouija board.
So on a trip in Jerusalem, one of the band members purchased an archaic Ouija type talking board at a curio shop as a gift for the singer. They had returned to the tour bus after shows to play with it during the 2006 tour with the Chili Peppers. Dubbed the Soothsayer, the board revealed stories, gave names, and made demands, and the band was contacted by 3 different people who appeared in the form of one who was then referred to as Goliath. The more the band interacted with the Soothsayer, otherworldly coincidences began plaguing the band's experience, writing and recording the Bedlam Goliath, the name of the album I'm talking about. Blake Fleming, the drummer at the time, quit mid-tour and left the band with financial troubles. The lead singer wound up needing surgery performed on his foot due to the shoes he had been wearing, forcing him to relearn how to walk post-surgery. Audio tracks sporadically disappeared from the studio's hard drives. Rodriguez Lopez's home studio flooded and was subject to multiple power outages. The album's original engineer went through a nervous breakdown, leaving behind all previous work with no notes as to where anything was. The engineer who quit stated to Rodriguez Lopez, I'm not going to help you make this record. You're trying to do something very bad with this record. You're trying to make me crazy, and you're trying to make people crazy.
What?
Yeah, Rodriguez Lopez was on the brink of starting the recording from scratch, but eventually kept on after recruiting someone else to be the engineer. Midway through the recording sessions, one of them broke the Soothsayer in half and buried it in an undisclosed location as an attempt to undo the curse and halt the unforeseen tragedies. So, the Rodriguez Lopez, the band member, swore never to give away the location of the burial, and also asked the band not to speak of it again during the remainder of the album's production, dude.
Wow.
So, I don't know, it's pretty.
That's
they did some pretty
interesting.
crazy shit, dude.
And that's wild, man.
Yeah.
And that's the Mars Volta again. The band, the Mars Volta.
Yeah.
What was was it 9 Inch Nails that recorded the album in the Tate House? Or was it 9 Inch Nails?
No, that was broken. That was Unbroken.
Okay.
That was Wish.
Yeah, shit. That's crazy.
Track 6.
Yeah, where like
Yeah.
they literally like rented the house to record it in this like place where it was like
Yeah.
One of the-
crazy.
one of
There's
the
a lot of
big-
stories about bands
most
that
famous
done-
murders
done
happen.
done that sort of thing with trying basically go to cursed or haunted or just places where terrible tragedies have happened and record there. You know, but it is getting probably to a good time to
Oh,
Maybe.
to wrap this thing up?
Yeah,
Shut it down.
because I love.
Let's go home.
I mean, this is kind of me shoving music down people's throats, and I beg for people to shove their music down my throat.
Matthew.
Brandon will share music with me, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't really have people shove music.
You need
down
to
my
have.
throat.
I'll give
That's 'cause
Gennaro.
Matthew doesn't necessarily fuck with
I'll give
music.
Gennaro your number because I'm not even kidding. This
But if you
dude
like
has a
shitty
talent
music,
for.
then I don't.
No. G has he has this ability to where he can play. He knows good music across every single genre. It can be hip hop. It can
So
be.
it's like he's got a producer's ear.
I'm telling you, dude. We
That's a
went
gift
to
in
this
itself,
man
man,
brought.
someone who can do
We
that
went to
sort
a
of thing.
bowling alley that had no big speakers to play music. This man brought his own big rolling speaker on wheels.
Yeah.
And he had his phone out. Everybody was just, there was a normal cadence to the whole bowling alley.
Then he just put on Cotton Eye
And he
Joe
turns
and
this,
got
he
bumping.
turned this shit on, man. And I kid you not, the first track he played, everybody that could hear this shit within around us.
What was the track?
Shit, I don't even fucking remember because
But
if
you
I
just
was
remember
just
the experience. You
Yes.
just remember the effect it had.
exactly, and he played it, and he has, and I told
knew
him I
his
was
audience.
like, well, not just that, man. Because he played in a wide variety of music, and everybody loved.
All
No
right.
matter what he played, it was just he's got an ear for it.
Very
So I'm gonna.
curious
I'm
to
gonna
connect with them.
I'm
man.
gonna have him just like bomb you with shit. He's not
Yeah,
gonna
send
say
me a
nothing,
playlist.
but just send you the
Even.
shit.
You could just send me a playlist. You
I'm
know,
gonna have him do it. You in trouble now?
dude. The thing is, you suggest something, I'll watch it.
Oh, I know that.
I'll listen to it.
See, and that's a dangerous trait because I'm just gonna start suggesting dumb shit like Mothman Prophecy. I
I
got
watched
you to
it.
watch that.
I watched it.
And did you at the end of it? Did you feel like Mikey got you?
I feel like Mikey must have watched it when he was 12.
Or did you feel like Mikey got you?
Brent's like,
No, because I
Brent,
think you
wait.
might
I
have liked
did
it.
like it.
Yeah.
I did
No,
like the movie.
I think you liked it.
Brent has, bro, motherfuckers smoke pot as long as people have. Brent has a memory that rivals my own. What do you remember about Mothman Prophecy? You saw Mothman Prophecy.
Yeah.
Laura Linney was
Yes. Yes.
Was it a good movie? Did you think it was a good movie?
It got my attention. I mean, when it first came
Yeah,
out,
it got
I
your
was just
attention.
telling you, whatever, you know, but when
But
I
at the
saw
end of it-
and I watched it, and I was like, the whole freaking time, just like glued to it. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, even by the end, I was like, oh my god.
All right. See, that's
because it was a good movie.
That's
Yeah.
that's
No, it was
awesome.
a good movie.
Because I like or don't like something doesn't mean it's good or bad.
Yeah. No, I know.
I
I'm
just
fucking with you.
No, I just know
It just
Brent,
wasn't
Brent,
from-
Brent is the
It
only
was-
person
I know, I just
that
love
watches
your
the
text.
movies more than
the
Matthew
ride
does.
was great. It was one of those things where like,
Yes.
but I went in.
The filming
I
of
knew
it.
the payoff wasn't gonna be good just because I just knew the Mothman prophecies. I just knew the payoff wasn't gonna do it for me. Because there really was no
Especially when I
payoff.
saw the
What was the
gerbil.
payoff in that movie?
There wasn't.
There wasn't a payoff.
There was a gerbil. on the cover
He
of the
thought
movie.
there was gonna be a bomb at
There
some
wasn't.
political event and a
There was
bridge
no
collapsed.
payoff. There was
They
no
just
payoff.
happened to tie in the
But I
lore
just-
of the bridge with
I
the
liked
Mothman.
I liked the filming of it.
It's
and
like,
all
why
of
did
that.
his wife get that tumor
God,
or whatever?
I don't know. Who knows? Why does anybody get a tumor?
Dude, yeah. What they threw all these things out there. It was like Lost, which was great. They threw a bunch of shit against the wall, and what sticks? Well, I don't know. We'll just make the bridge fall at the
Like,
end.
this is goddamn moths.
We'll just
It's
make
like,
the
how do
bridge
we
fall at
how
the
do we
end.
tie all this in with this guy's sister? And it's like, it's all irrelevant.
fucking moth. Did.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Again,
Moth.
they
the
get
end,
the
we're
phone
just
calls.
gonna
That
waste-
wasn't me. That was me. That wasn't me. What?
At the end, we're just gonna waste all these people time and see how long we can do it for.
Yeah, like what was with the people getting calls that weren't them? Was it them? Was it? I don't. Does it? What? Tell me. Watch it again.
I'm gonna watch tonight. I'm gonna
Go
go
home and watch Mothman again,
go
and tell me what's going on.
I can assure you.
I'm gonna go
Brent's
home
gonna
tonight and do
watch
that.
Mothman Prophecies.
Maybe I just.
So-
maybe I wasn't paying enough attention.
So do we get to?
So what are the recs? What are
do
the
we
recs?
get to the recommendation of the week?
All right. Yeah. Recommendations of the week.
Hopefully it's not Mothman Prophecies.
I feel like you normally go first.
I mean, I guess mine would just. You would think it would be music related, but it's not going to be. It's going to be if you don't have one, get yourself a deep fryer. They're great.
Ooh, get yourself a deep fryer. Mine would be.
And deep fried French fries that you get from anywhere because they're not crispy enough. That's it.
Dang, dude. Mine would be if you find that like you feel yourself getting upset about something, or whatever the emotion may be, just stop for a second, and before you just like keep reaffirming to yourself that you feel that emotion, just sit there and maybe think about it, and like be with it for a second and see what happens. Because I feel like
Okay.
whenever, like, so what I mean by that is like when you get mad,
Okay.
like you're mad and you're angry, but then it's like you give it just a second and you don't focus on being mad and angry, and before you know it, it's like,
Stop and recognize it and let it.
Well, it's
fly
gone,
away,
and
Yeah.
you don't
basically.
remember.
Yeah.
It's like
so,
an
and
object.
also too being in a situation.
But how would
where
you
maybe,
do that? Is there an exercise to do? Because it's easier said than done, right?
Well,
it's
first
like
of
an
all,
object
the-
passing-
First of all,
passing
is starting to be able to recognize whenever that happens. So
Okay.
recognizing when you're you're upset or you feel like you're annoyed, stop and just be like, why am I annoyed?
Okay.
What is
Let's
what
make
is it that's really
just like
annoying me?
on an interpersonal level. If you and his girlfriend or friend are in the same room, you having a big
Yeah.
disagreement. A lot is built up against it, and they've really to where if you walk away, you're not just gonna forget everything that's bugged you about them or
Yeah.
everything that's upset you, and all these other emotions. But what's an exercise or a mind clearing thing that you would do?
I would first off, I would tell the other person if I'm about to leave the room and I'm in that situation, I would tell them that like I need to like walk away either before I just before I go down a path that probably doesn't even need to
Domestic
be walked
abuse.
down. No, not that.
Okay.
I meant in your mind where it's like I need to just like walk away for a minute and just
But
like
make it
really
clear that you're
process and
not
figure out
leaving-
because that's what I
because
mean
that can
about
offend people.
Well, what I was exactly to make it clear to them that it's like I'm walking away not because I'm mad at you and I feel like I'm trying to prove a point to you, but I'm walking away because it's like again, that's what I meant about being able to, because that's the thing. If you get into an argument or something with your girl or vice versa, a girl gets an argument with their guy and then they just sit there, a lot of people, at least in my relationships in the past, get really uncomfortable and upset when you're silent. If you don't say anything, you're like, what the fuck? Well, why you just going to sit there and it's like, I don't want to, I don't want to say anything
Because
too
there's
quickly
nothing- there's
because
nothing
if
to
I
feed
say
off
something
of.
too quickly, it's like, I might not really mean it. I don't even really know. That's what I meant about when you watch your emotions.
You're forcing me to say.
So what I meant about whenever, so that's what I was saying about
Okay.
when I meant about watching your emotions is because then you really feel like you actually can kind of figure out maybe what it is that you want to say, what it is that you want to do. Am I really mad right now? Why?
Yeah.
Like when you get in traffic, you're driving, so I have to go somewhere. Oh, this traffic fucks this up. And then you just, rather than going down that road of being mad and reaffirming to yourself that I'm mad and this happened, just stop for a second and be like,
Dude, I would say on top of that, and put on a song you love.
yeah, there you go. And then real quick, you notice that it's like these things that normally push us around aren't necessarily. It's like you kind of just they're like it's almost like cars
Take
the same
control
way they
back.
pass you. Yeah,
Take
by
control back
letting
of your
go,
emotions.
by letting go,
Yeah, let go and take
and just watch it.
Yeah, hell yeah, I like.
So
it.
I kind of gave away through explaining to everybody what you just wanted. I kind of gave the whole thing away, but it's okay, dude.
What? So the Mothman made us do this all?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, like, I feel like. I guess,
I'm glad that you like that one.
I guess kind of along the same lines y'all were saying. It's like a lot of times you know, it's like.
I mean, as long as the joke hits one person this well, then it was the best joke I've ever made. Sorry.
A lot of times you end up placing a lot of fucking expectations.
Yeah.
You know.
Is it so? The
yourself
title's in your
and
rec
shit
though,
like
just
that.
so we can. So what's your rec?
Huh?
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is like right along with Mikey's. Is that
Okay.
It's just like, you know, just
We're not
fucking-
trying hard.
No, I'm
All right,
not.
Brent.
I'm
Brent,
not.
what's your Give us a recommendation to do this week. It could be anything. It could be listen to one of your favorite Nine Inch Nails songs. It could be go outside and look at a bug. It could be anything.
Like it's
Say go outside
What?
and
That's
go
not
get
the-
a bug.
to those who have kids or whatever, just
Enjoy
take 30
that shit.
minutes,
Let 'em
45
talk.
minutes out of your time every day. Spend some time with them. When you do that, they remember that stuff, and that's what creates a bond. So if you want to be a better parent, spend some more time with your kid.
There you
I love
go.
it. This is a man who loves his kids.
That's a
No,
fantastic
that-
rec.
This is a man.
Like
Thing
of
that drives me.
all,
This is a man
It's
who
like
loves his
Brent.
kids.
like hands down, there are two people in my entire fucking life that I would say like, and I know you know one of them, like Nathan and Brent.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No, I can definitely
And-
see the
no, and
similarities.
and Brent is the type where it's like, nah, he was like, people that don't know him may think he's an asshole.
You hear that, Brent?
It's like
Chris thinks you're an asshole.
that dude. No, he knows. He knows. Like,
No. I know Brent's cool. You know what one of my first memories of this fool is? I let him borrow that Lamb of God DVD. And I know, I if anything, I hope I gave it to you because you loved it more than I don't even remember hiding it up with it. But I remember how thankful you were to let you borrow it and how much that meant to you and how genuine that response was. And I was like, dang, this is a real guy. The whole real recognized real. I'm like, dang, Brent, this is a real dude. So it's funny that's probably one of the first times we met. But I remember that. I remember reaction, dude. And that really defines like how I know you're a good dude. So.
It's like you gather good people in your life.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably.
And
then that's probably the purpose.
No, in my mind, you heard them, and then you get them towards your bidding. But it's called manipulation, but there's a good way.
You do that secondarily.
I would like to say that that's Chris's recommendation for the week is to gather good people.
Gather good
Gather
people.
good people in your life.
See, sometimes you need people to
Sounds
help
like Chris
you, and
wants to
see
start a
that's
cult.
why you gather good people in your life is because sometimes you need them to help you find that recommendation. I just helped Chris find his
It
recommendation.
takes a village to smother a child.
Where like when your best friend shits on your recommendation, right?
Or it takes the Mothman to.
The Mothman, Chris, speaking through me.
The Mothman comes in, or
The Moth.
maybe some.
Forgive me if I am critical whenever someone just copies someone else's. It's very sweet, but that is a good time for us to go because my wife is probably like, oh my god.
This podcast is.
Never forgive, never ever apologize for giving me your honest opinion. Ever.
Mothman sucks.
Fuck you, dude.